Hey everybody, this is Drew,
And it's Blake.
And this is Brian.
and you're listening to the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Controllers podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 105 of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Controllers presents Lock, Stock, and Three Smoking Controllers Co-op Endeavors episode. And today we're going to be covering Grounded. But before we get to that, we're going to go through a little social media preamble. You can find all of us, me much less, on social media platforms just by searching the podcast name. On all those, you can keep track of the comings and goings of the podcast. And most importantly, here recently, we want people to come to our Twitch streams with me, the podcast editor, and cousin Brian. There right now we're going through Wolong Fallen Dynasty with short stints into Grounded, which may or may not continue as we move forward. You can follow us there on Twitch and drop in when we go live at twitch.tv/Two Smoking Controllers. Lastly, there is a store and a Patreon page. The store has some amazing underwear that I still haven't seen, which I apologize, guys. I haven't gone and looked at those. I'll make that my next purchase. Oh, sweet. I love that. Both the Patreon page and the store just support the cost of maintaining the podcast. Contrary to popular belief, they still have not paid me. So that just goes to Mladen Markovic, aka Devious.Pixel, for art. So just for the record, I'm doing this from the kindness of my heart and familial love. And links to all of this stuff will be in the show notes added by Drew, because I don't do that. And now I think we're gonna kick over to Blake so that we can get started with the actual show.
If there's ever any money that comes into the podcast, the lion's share would go to editing, of course. Mladen. Oh, so it's still Mladen? Oh, okay. Sorry, Brian.
It costs a lot.
I tried.
He's the one with actual talent, so I'm not really upset by that.
He gets paid for his art. I mean, he gets paid directly for the art that he gives for the podcast. So
Yeah.
we get more.
It'd be like a 75-25 split, 75 him, 25 Brian.
Yeah, he gets paid on the front end.
And there'll be taxes and fees taken out of that, so I'm really gonna see about 17.5%. That's fine.
I mean, maybe. Taxes don't go up in the next little while.
So we have like Brian said, we're going to pass on to the get into the developer. We've we played this game a whole bunch. I don't know how many hours. I forgot to look out a little while. He's talking about how many hours we clocked into the game. Probably quite a bit, more than we maybe even wanted to. I don't know how many folks like the part of the podcast where we talk about the developers and stuff like that. Me and Blake find that stuff interesting. I think you do, Brian, to an extent.
Yep, I'm a fan. I like it.
Big fan.
Yep.
We like that stuff. So all three of us like that stuff quite a bit. So maybe these parts are only for us three. But the developer of this game, which Blake will say in a second, is a pretty big deal, I think, in gaming. They've done a lot of really cool stuff over the years. I think they're pretty important to Microsoft and stuff like that. And I'm looking forward to like everything they got going on in the future. The game we're going to talk about today is probably my least favorite game of them that they've made, arguably. But you know, we played it for co-op reasons, and we're hoping it would be more fun. But we'll get into that, and then the more recent sittings we had with it too when they released user-created content.
The game, in case you didn't hear Brian say it, the game we'll be tackling is called Grounded. So Grounded was released on Windows and Xbox One in early access, originally in July 2020. And early access is they still do early access, don't they, for like certain games?
There's
Yeah,
still,
for sure.
Yeah, there's still games out now that are early access. I
Yeah.
think Exo Primal was early access.
Yep.
Early
was,
access is basically like it's like what, like an open beta, isn't it?
It's a
basically.
beta test, yeah. And early access is huge on Steam and PC games, especially. I think it's more of a recent addition to consoles. But
Yeah, 'cause,
computer games you can buy broken all the time.
Yeah, well, a podcast favorite, or at least a me podcast favorite, was Darkest Dungeon was early access for like years, 2 or 3
Yeah.
years before it came out. But same thing with this one. It was early access July 2020 and was fully released September 27th, 2022. Is when this is the game. Here you go.
Did we start playing at full release, or did we play a bit before full
I
release?
think we played before full release because when I looked at my TA, I never got an achievement, so it
That's
never
right.
tracked anything for me
To track your time. I'm about to look at mine now.
because it only gave achievements to the host.
I gotta
Oh,
start
that
tracking
sucks.
that stuff.
And so I think you hosted or something. Either you were, because I didn't host. I didn't get any achievements.
Mine says 18 hours. Why did it feel like 100 hours?
It had to have been more than 18 hours.
Was it only
I don't.
we-
Yeah, I don't think there's any way.
There's only probably 18 hours. That's crazy. I got one achievement too. And I think it's because a lot of it was locked behind because we were playing on the super easy baby mode.
Oh yeah.
And we're not ashamed of it either.
Not at all.
So that's like how Grounded came out. We'll get more into that here momentarily. But for now, I am going to tackle the developer. The developer is Obsidian Entertainment, and they're an American-based, and they're based out of Irvine, California. They have a little over 200 employees as of 2022, and they have made 17 games.
Okay.
Their starter set of games were sequels to BioWare materials, which I'll get to that here in just a second. Now, kind of the cool thing is the 4 founders of Obsidian, which are actually it's more than 4, but there's Chris Parker, Darren Monahan, Chris Jones, Chris Avalon, and Fergus Urquhart. And they were all former employees of Black Isle Studios before it closed down. And they came together to create Obsidian. And Black Isle Studios they were around for a long time. They were around 28 years, 96 until they went down.
Went down.
Well, they didn't go down. They were just merged and evolved and renamed up to, and they got rid of a bunch of people type situation. But I didn't do a whole lot of work on Black Isle because this is the Obsidian.
Yeah.
Which I probably should have, but
Do you know if we've played any Black Isle games?
Fallout
I bet we
2.
have.
Oh, we didn't play Fallout. So you're older than us. You played Fallout 2.
Yeah, I played Fallout 2. Yeah.
We'll
I was in
possibly
on that.
Fallout, Planescape Torment, Icewind Dale, the original Baldur's Gate.
Well, they collaborated with BioWare on Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2, and then
Mhm.
Neverwinter Nights.
They also
I
released
got dabbled in Neverwinter Nights, but if they co-developed, they probably just helped a little bit.
it says right here that the studio released a Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance remaster in 21. They
2021.
They did the remaster for it, yeah.
So they're still around.
So yeah, I don't know what happened, but they just says they left and other things came out.
But Black Isle's still around. Black Isle did the Baldur's Gate Dark
Mhm.
Alliance remaster.
But yeah, well, this is the
This
last
is the
game.
Black Isle podcast, but
Yeah, so the first game was 97, the last game was 04. And then they didn't do anything else until 2021, which is that.
that's weird.
Well,
There's
it
no way
says they're a
there's no way it's the
subsidiary.
same people.
Well, they're a subsidiary of Interplay Entertainment. I don't know what they do, but they could be forced onto other things, and maybe then they wouldn't be getting full credit for that kind of stuff if they're
That's
a
a
subsidiary of a
possibility, yeah.
large company.
What's Interplay do though? I don't know. Maybe
That's a whole other. See, that's why I didn't want to go down
I
that
know,
rabbit
but
hole.
what's it's interesting. I mean, it's a company. I feel like I've heard of Black Isle back in the day. They've clearly worked on
Yeah,
things.
they're
we've
even,
heard of.
when you look at like the Wikipedia, it's Black Isle, a division of Interplay.
Mhm.
So, but I didn't. Yeah, so
That's a whole can of worms. There.
yeah. So I just wanted to stick with Obsidian, and Obsidian has officially been in business since July 12th, 2003. So it's like that's 20 years almost exactly,
Mhm.
a little over now.
Mhm.
And like I said, they're over 200 employees based out of Irvine, California, with the 17 games. And we've played most of their games. I'm not going to go down and hit every single one of them, but their first 2 were, like you said, BioWare sequels. Like BioWare did the original ones, and then they would come out and do the sequels, which include the first game, which is crazy. The first game they did was KOTOR 2, Knights of the Old Republic 2, which is
It's a big deal.
it's pretty mind blowing for that to be your first adventure into video games.
Mm-hmm.
Big shoes.
The game's still held in high regard too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then was it Neverwinter Nights 2? They did another sequel to another licensed project. And then their first solo thing was called Alpha Protocol.
That was their first.
That was their first original IP was Alpha Protocol.
That was a cool game. I played it for a couple hours. Did you play Alpha Protocol, Brian?
I didn't. I've got zero Alpha Protocol experience.
Oh man,
it's kind of like
it was a spy RPG, right?
Mm-hmm. It was an espionage
RPG. What's my TA? I played it in February 27th in 2011. Woo.
It came out in 2010, so you played it like a.
Got 12 of the 50 achievements. I think I got stuck somewhere or something happened.
It's also before I think you were like an achievement hound, hunting down achievements as much as you were.
Yeah. Remember being pretty cool. I'm surprised it's like something they haven't tried to
remaster
and bring it back out again.
Because it did the whole good bad thing. You want to be like a rogue spy, you want to be a by the book spy, and then you got to.
It would be pretty cool.
Certain people in your agency were like, oh, they don't respect you anymore. But others like, hey, man, you want to come around to our side of thinking? And it seemed kind of cool, but I don't think it was. I remember some of the controls being real wonky.
Mm-hmm.
But then like their big crowning achievement early on, besides KOTOR, the next big thing they would do would be Fallout New Vegas, which is highly regarded.
Yeah, people actually to this day.
Yeah, people actually say it like, and it sucked. We talk about it off podcast a bit, but back in the day when I'd played it, this is like right after I'd clocked in 200 hours or so into Fallout 3. So I was like over Fallout. So New Vegas comes out. I'm like, I'm not ready for another one. So I've still to this day like completely missed New Vegas. And most people will say New Vegas is better than 3 and better than Fallout 4. Now 4 ain't that good anyway.
What kind of?
But
I'm not ready to say it's better than 3, but it beats 4 hands down.
Yeah,
for sure.
4 is easy to not. I mean, 4 was not. I loved Fallout 3, but I never got. But some people will say like New Vegas is in some ways, and like writing and stuff like that, like Vegas is better than 3. Some people. I mean, it just shows you how highly regarded that game is. I mean, every time I scroll past it on Game Pass, I was like, is this the day I start another 200-hour Fallout experience? I just haven't done it yet because it's hard to start those games that size.
And they kind of just keep pumping them out, honestly, because after they did that, it was Dungeon Siege 3, which was, again, I don't think it was as well received. I will say that Dungeon Siege 3 you and I played it, it was a great game to an extent.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Dungeon Siege 3 is maybe the only time I've ever injected a disc out of a console and bounced it off the floor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it sounds great, guys. It sounds like it's awesome.
This is like
we wouldn't even find a boss.
This is the DLC boss. It was
the DLC boss was
one of the most unfair things I've ever seen in gaming. I was just like furious. I ain't gonna say the words I was saying. This is a family-friendly podcast. But I was just like, I remember even in slow motion, I have the memories of me hitting eject on my 360. I put the disc out. I can see Blake going, no.
I was trying to save it so we could sell it to McKay's or
something. I took that disc and I slammed that disc in my front. I don't even care about this crap. This sucks. And that was DLC, so we didn't beat the main game.
And it bounced off that game was probably hit the wall above the. We had those really long blinds and hit the space in between the ceiling and the blinds and bounced off that, and that's actually what shattered it.
Yeah, the only game. Now I don't know what that says about the game. That's the only game my entire life. I've been mad at a lot of video games, obviously. I mean, less so these days because I'm older, but I guess. But only game I've ever ejected from a console and broke. Only one ever.
And I tried to stop. I tried to stop it because I was like, that's money. We could sell that to somebody, some other poor soul.
It's going to hold that record for a while now that we're in the digital age more and more. You're never going to get to break that.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I don't remember. I know the fight was just insane. I don't know what we were fighting. It was just some
I just remember that
craziness, and that's the. I knew I saw Dungeon Siege 3 in the notes. I was like, I know what Blake wants to talk about. Little did I had no idea who Obsidian was back then when we played that game. We really did another sequel, so Alpha Protocol being an original IP, and it's a sequel. Looks like here then another. It's a licensed game, but still.
The next thing they did was actually very well received.
Yeah.
By I think all parties involved, and they were actually the company that did the South Park, the Stick of Truth game.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that, Brian?
Oh yeah, I played most of the South Park games from way back. Probably
I've
Oh,
tried
gosh.
all of them. I think the only
Yeah.
one I actually haven't played is the Fractured Butthole.
Well, this one was famous at the time because multiple things. One, it's the first game that ever looks like actually looks like you're in South Park, and apparently, if you in the interviews, it's the first time ever
Matt Stone, Trey Parker.
Matt Stone had to actually draw out a map of South Park. That's the first time South Park had ever been mapped in their entire career of 25 years of making South Park.
They said it helped. It helped them like further their storytelling because then they're like, oh, well,
I
if
don't know
these,
about storytelling.
I mean, it helped them because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, if these things are actually next to one another, we could have them interact more, and it helped them like build the world even
Yeah.
more.
But it is
Nice.
not surprising that Obsidian is the one that made them map out the South Park.
Yeah, like guys, we need a map because we're gonna do a thing.
We're going to render this 1-to-1, and it's going to be incredibly accurate.
Yeah. So we're saying you mentioned Fractured Butthole, so they didn't do. I know Fractured Butthole, the gameplay and everything is different. I
They
know
did.
that I haven't played that one yet, but like so that they didn't do the. I don't even think it's a sequel. I think Fractured Butthole is just a completely different game.
I think
Yeah, they
this is
weren't
a
involved
completely
at all.
separate game as far like, it has nothing to do with them. Fractured Butthole was put out by Ubisoft.
What's the publisher?
No, developed by Ubisoft San Francisco, published by Ubisoft. So it was developed by
Okay.
Ubisoft San
One of the
Francisco.
in-house studios then. Okay.
Yeah, it was even Stick of Truth was published by Ubisoft.
Yeah. Moving on.
And so now we get to a couple of things of theirs that I haven't played. Okay, no, we turned on Pillars of Eternity.
It's a lot of game.
That is a lot of game.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
played a little
epitome.
bit of the Pillars of Eternity, but I played way more of what you'll talk about later. Deadfire, Pillars of Eternity 2. I played a lot of that.
Oh, you played more of the sequel?
Yeah.
Is it a direct sequel or just like another game in the series or something?
I think it's a direct sequel.
Direct sequel.
I want to say it is.
Wonder why you would have played more of the more of the sequel than the original.
I've got one answer to that. Game Pass. That's why I played.
Well, they're both on Game Pass now, ain't they? Because
Yeah, but
Microsoft owns them.
I saw Deadfire first.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of that, Obsidian, they were officially bought by Xbox in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
They are a subsidiary of Xbox as of
Microsoft first party.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Excellent purchase, I say. Now we're not really raving about a lot of these games, but I am a fan of what they do.
Yeah.
In general, and I still want to play because I really got to play New Vegas. Talking about them now, I might bump New Vegas up in my thing. My problem with playing long games is I'm in the middle of a Yakuza game right now, and Yakuza games are like 50+ hours in general. So I don't know if I can go from a Yakuza into a Fallout, but as we move up the thing, we'll get to like their other game, which is pretty much their spiritual successor to New Vegas, but we'll get to that in a second. The Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 were both incredibly well, like award-winning, well-received, kind of like Baldur's Gate inspired RPGs, aren't they? They pretty much play like the Baldur's Gates.
I think so.
Like the older Baldur's Gate, not like because I think Baldur's Gate 3 now plays a little differently than the first two, but and they didn't have nothing to do with that game, Baldur's Gate 3. But you go, and then next would be I'm following your notes here. Avowed, I guess, what they announced last year.
There's a few things in the middle that I wasn't too familiar with that I'll just kind of pop real quick.
Yeah.
Skyforge, which was just a mass online multiplayer game only.
Or for something that like launched and failed and then nobody talked about, maybe. Possibly. Is that recently?
It says 2015.
I mean, but the Nintendo Switch port was 2021, so I mean they're still doing stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I don't really know that.
So they launched that before they were purchased by
it.
Microsoft. That's weird.
Yeah, and then they have it's a mobile only, but it's called Pathfinder Adventures. Pathfinder is also a
D&D thing.
It's not D&D. It's no, God, what's it? It's Greenwood. It's a subsidiary of D&D of Wizards of the Coast. It's part of their material, but it's not necessarily D&D. But it was kind of a weird, cool thing here. Was in 2015 they also did a free-to-play vehicular combat game called Armored Warfare, and it was just kind of PvP and PvE, and it was just a bunch of like things going together head to head.
Like a Twisted Metal or something?
Sorta, but it had like a bunch of like built-in microtransactions for upgrades and stuff like that. Yeah. To the point, like they put it out. I think it's, as far as I can tell, it's still going, but they put it out in 2015 and then said, nah, we're tired of this, and stopped working on it in 2017, and another company took over because they were tired of dealing with it.
Yeah.
And
they seem like given their stuff they've worked on, they want to build worlds and build real games, not little mobile garbage nonsense.
And I don't think they want to maintain a
Maintain it.
microtransaction machine.
Nah, build a big world, fill it with stuff, and then leave it alone.
Yeah.
And then
You
they have
can't tell
another
a
one.
story the other way.
Then they have another mobile. Well, no, this is Windows, Mac, and Linux only, called Tyranny. And it, while not a sequel, Tyranny builds upon the gameplay and engines used in the previous title of Pillars of Eternity. So it's like a spiritual successor to Pillars of Eternity called Tyranny, but it's PC only.
It's weird they wouldn't port it.
And then I guess they use that to whatever they learned in that to jump into Pillars 2, Deadfire.
So it came out between them.
Mm-hmm.
How have I not heard of that game? It's weird that like because Pillars, the first Pillars come out, it was talked about a bunch and like with like award winning, and it's weird they put out a game between it that I've heard nothing about.
Yeah, but it was also PC only, so
Doesn't matter. I mean,
yeah,
that
that
Pillars
did.
and stuff would have launched on PC. That there are more PC RPGs anyway.
Yeah, PC tabletop esque
Oh,
RPGs.
for sure.
Yeah, they're built that way. That's really weird. Have you heard of that second game, Brian?
No.
That's weird. Okay.
And then this was a huge one. This next game we're going to talk about hit, and a lot of people talked about it. It was the next game they put out after they did Pillars 2 in 2018. In 2019, they would do the Outer Worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that that was
this recently announced sequel.
I think that was supposed to be one of the games. I think it left. No, I think it came back, didn't it? It was supposed to be. It's one of the games for our co-op endeavors anyway that we wanted to play, wasn't it?
Outer Worlds? No, that's what I'm talking about. This is their New Vegas. They're sort of New Vegas in space, kind of. Though it's like their Fallout in space.
It's Fallout just outside. I mean, it's not Fallout, but it is Fallout. And anybody that plays it, you immediately recognize it.
Oh, something.
You're thinking of Outer Wilds or Outriders.
I think of Outriders.
Outriders. Yeah.
Yeah, the names are so close together.
I haven't played that. Yeah, I haven't played Outer Worlds yet.
I've played like 15 hours or so, 15, 18 hours of Outer Worlds.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of it?
Put it this way, it's just like Fallout, and it's more like a Fallout 4 to me than it is a Fallout 3.
Oh,
so
really?
I hit it. I stuck with it for, like I said, 15 to 20 ish hours, and then I just had no desire to finish the story.
Oh, that's sad.
It did not hook me. Did not hook me at all.
And then after the Outer Worlds, we have Grounded, which we'll get to eventually.
As I said before, like it's the least interesting game in their history.
Yeah. And then they have a couple of things after this. One being called Pentiment,
which I think Brian has played.
Yeah, I played that. That's the one that's like 2D and cell shaded and goes through with like old script, illuminated manuscript type stuff. It was an interesting idea.
A 2D perspective, yeah.
Is it you just talking? Is it talking and making choices?
Yeah, it's just talking and making choices. It's a narrative tale, basically.
And then
I'll definitely play. I'm sure I'll play it. I almost said I'll play it when it leaves Game Pass, but it won't leave Game Pass.
The last two is, of course, it's only been announced, but Outer Worlds 2, they're working on that. That's to be announced. But then later this year, 2024, they don't have an actual date, but it just says it's supposed to be 2024 is Avowed. It's supposed to come out sometime this year, and I'm not entirely sure what that is either. I think it's
Avowed is their first person. Supposedly, I think it was sort of announced as like I don't know if they said it, but it was like their first person Skyrim kind of Elder Scrolls sized, which they're experiencing that already anyway. They've already made Fallout games and stuff like that. So they're already experienced in these larger, these big world RPGs. But Avowed, the interesting part of Avowed is why I need to go back and play the other games, is Avowed is set in the world of Pillars of Eternity.
So yeah, that is pretty cool.
It's kind of cool to see a perspective shift and maybe a gameplay shift, but basically, you don't really see that in games too very often. A shift. One that I can really think of is as a bad example is maybe Halo and Halo Wars, or Halo and Halo Spartan Assault. Maybe those are just games that have had based on the same world, so had a genre shift like that. But pretty.
I'm looking forward to it because it goes to that first person's perspective and it draws that fantasy RPG, but it's going to be an Unreal 5, so that has potential to be a gorgeous game. And with Obsidian storytelling chops, if it's something that can hook me, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, as I feel I need to dig deep into some Pillars of Eternity. So like, I don't want to I worry. I don't know if Avowed won't be like, it won't be like, oh, here's all the references to stuff you should know from Pillars of Eternity. I don't think they'll do that because of the genre. Because obviously sometimes the audience for like a like a PC RPG like Pillars, and the audience for Avowed first person Elder Scrolls stuff ain't going to be the same audience a lot of the time. I feel like a lot of people will do it. Like I'm interested in both.
Yeah.
But there's a divide there on the kind of player.
Yeah, some people would look at that type of game like you and I do.
And there'll be 90% of the Avowed player base that has no idea it was attached to Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah, no
There are
doubt.
Unless it mentions it somewhere in the game, nobody will know.
So the other cool thing is sometimes you can like judge like how good a company is based off how many games they've had canceled. Like I said, they've had 17 games.
Oh, that's just out of their hands.
I mean, yeah, a lot of it is out of their hands, but sometimes you're just like, ooh, that's a good thing they didn't go forward.
Sometimes companies like EA cancel stuff that's pure art, like Anthem.
Oh yeah. Or Xbox decides to cancel Scalebound, a completely finished game that never came out. And I'm very salty about that still. Remember that
Agreed.
Scalebound?
Oh yeah, I was super excited about Scalebound. I mean, they used that to sell systems, and then never made good on it.
The director still talks about it. He's like, I get tweets all the time. He's like, stop tweeting me. You need to tweet Microsoft or to call Microsoft. Tell them you want the game to come out. Because it got ripped out of his hands too. Apparently, who knows? We'll never know what happened to Scalebound.
So I'm going to talk about these 3 canceled ones real quick because that's not bad. Only 3 canceled games in the 20-year run. 3 canceled games is not bad.
Yeah.
Their first one, which was supposed to be a 360 PlayStation 3 game, which kind of makes sense as to why it got canceled, was supposed to be a prequel to Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, and it was the origin of the dwarves.
No way that gets made.
But it got caught it says it was in development hell, and eventually the team moved on to Alpha Protocol.
And it was just named Dwarfs.
The dwarves, yeah.
No way that.
They misspelled it. It's dwarfs instead of dwarves. The proper spelling, it's dwarf with an S. That's not how you spell dwarves, but that's just that's English. I'm sorry. You drop the F and add VES, but regardless. And then also a couple years later, if they were going to work on a movie,
or a game.
Well, it was a game based on a movie where they was going to use a squad-based combat and base building, and it was going to be Aliens Crucible, and it was going to be like an RTS almost with you against a horde of aliens coming towards you.
That could have worked.
It never came to fruition.
Sega killed that one, and that's the one that then led to Alpha Protocol. They then sold the idea of that spy RPG to Sega, and Sega was like, "Oh, okay, we're interested in that cool. Then."
And then they have a final cancellation thing, which was in 2012. It was planned on being a launch title for the 2013 Xbox One called Stormlands. And it was just a third-person action RPG, and that's all I could find about it. And they just kind of they pulled the plug, yeah. That's not half bad though. I mean, I'm kind of glad that Dwarves never came out. That'd be imagine like a hardcore, gritty origin story to the dwarves.
And then it would have been canceled within like a decade because it would have been offensive. So,
but that's kind of it for, like I said, we went down. I didn't expect to go down all their games, but that's because Obsidian is detrimental to like action RPG. What did I say?
Not detrimental.
They're beneficial. Well, I mean, yeah, they're responsible for like a lot of things.
Is detriment a bad thing?
No, detriment's a good thing, isn't it?
No, detriment's bad.
Detriment's bad.
Integral. Bad. You mean integral?
Maybe?
And okay, maybe.
You're the writer here. Come on,
dude. I don't. It's not on the writing's not talking.
No, he's got you there.
Writing is not talking.
I got no defense for that.
You got
writing is not talking.
Yeah,
I can spend weeks crafting the perfect sentence,
but you can't save one to save your life.
No,
that's but with like 7 tries, he can.
I do the best that I can with what I'm given, and I don't have a lot. That's what I said to every girlfriend ever.
Anyway, they're a cool company. Like one of the coolest purchases probably for like, and nobody gives Xbox like any kind of credit. Like their games continue to come out. Like Pillars of Eternity win awards. Stick of Truth won awards. That was Ubisoft's back then, but like Pillars of Eternity win awards. I think Pentament's actually award winning. Outer Worlds is award winning, and nobody's like, kudos Microsoft for buying a cool company. You know, that literally just make cool. I mean, Grounded. We're gonna talk about Grounded. I think Grounded won awards and stuff like that. All their stuff is
it continues to.
Yeah, all their stuff is award winning, and it's always so you couldn't put two of their games beside each other like, oh, this is Obsidian style. Like, no, they just make cool like cool weird
Whatever
stuff.
they want.
Whatever they kind of whatever and they've been given the freedom with Microsoft's backing. Did you put out like Grounded, and then like a year later, like 2 years later, you put out Pentiment? Like you wouldn't have known that was. I mean, actually, when Grounded first came out, I didn't know Grounded was an Obsidian
Obsidian.
game because I knew them for RPGs.
Yeah.
And there's Grounded. What the hell is this? You know,
And
and so you
without
just
Xbox, I don't. Without Xbox and the early access on Game Pass, I don't think Grounded would have had the success that it's had. Wouldn't have
yeah.
received as many accolades, especially.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a really cool company. I mean, obviously they are talked about enough to win an award. I just don't think it's just like I don't know. It's one of the cool. Microsoft's bought a lot of things. All these people talk about now is like, oh, they got Activision, so they got all that stuff. I was like, yeah, but Activision kind of puts out the same crap over and over again. Like you don't get. I mean, there's not very many companies like Obsidian that
That's
have the
willing to take the risk,
pedigree.
willing to
Yeah.
take the chances. I mean, even with Avowed coming out, and like you said, they're switching perspectives, they're switching their style on that. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to. They don't have to do that. They
No,
could
they could
keep.
easily make a Pillars 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're just trying something new to try to maybe, if anything, I think the what Pillars is, which is like you said, it's that tabletop RPG full blown on like the PC where like everything has you pick up this spear in town off the ground and it's like, oh, it gives you the full history like a freaking like the bestiary or the glossary from Lord of the Rings about
Mm-hmm.
that spear, and you're like, oh, that's so awesome. Let's give it to this, homeless guy. But everything has like a story and like a deeply written story. In Pillars, that one that has like that stone figure that you talk to in town, he's like, I've been guarding this
Well,
town.
that was that's
What am I thinking of?
oh god, I have a steelbook. It's behind me. Torment Tides of
Okay,
Numeria.
but they're the same type of game though.
Yeah, that's the same
Okay.
as a PC. Yeah, also a PC RPG.
Okay, so my bad. I got them mixed up, but they're similar. They're fully
It's all about the
doused in
story.
lore.
All the PC RPGs and about Baldur's Gates and stuff like that. Like right now, we like with we're written in a tangent, but Baldur's Gate 3 right now,
Mhm.
it's the hotness of Baldur's Gate 3. People are talking about the gameplay of the story and the characters. I mean, there's combat in that game, but that's not what's important
I
about
was talking
the
about combat.
no,
Baldur's
it's the
Gate.
story and the
It's
character interactions,
yeah,
especially.
exactly. And that's what's going to be more like
Phil,
what
go
Pillars
pick
of
in that
Eternity.
poor
That's
squirrel.
this because if Val's going to have
Oh,
more
that's squirrel.
in your face combat, Pillars of Eternity would have both of those are more about the characters and the interact and the world. I think there's a lot of world building. Now, granted, I haven't played a lot of them, but I think there's a lot of world building in Pillars of Eternity. And that's what leads them to have this world ready to drop Avowed into this world they've already built.
And I mean, that's in the blurb about Avowed. I mean, it tells you like you're this race from this nation that's coming into this nation, and you're
Mm.
going to be responding to this plague that's coming on. And sure, if you haven't played, like you were saying, you might want to play the games beforehand just to get some background knowledge. But I guarantee you, somebody has a wiki out there where you can go and you can read all that stuff too if you don't want to. But yeah, it's all of that backstory.
Mm. Now I really want to play Pillars of Eternity. God, I want to play Pillars and I want to play New Vegas and I want to play Outer Worlds. When do I find time for each of these 100-hour RPGs?
Okay,
Damn
plan
it.
A is to find a sugar mama. That's
Or win
plan
the
number A.
lottery. You could win the lottery too.
Yeah, God, that'd be
Dude, if
big games. Big
won
games.
money, dude, I'm
Why
not
not?
even asking for hundreds of thousands or like hundreds of million. Give me a single million.
Money. One
Just give
money.
me
One money.
just one money of an undetermined amount that I can have right now. But yeah,
Like,
it's just too. I don't know how people do it. But those people also make a living off streaming and playing video games.
I guess.
We're chumps and put on clown makeup
Uh,
every day and go to a 40-hour-a-week job that I don't want to hang myself.
is there any specific? 'Cause we got to talk about this game at some point. We got to talk about Grounded at some point.
Well, very quickly, I want to talk about the director and the two writers,
Mhm.
and then we can talk about the game a little bit. And as we talk about them, I'll hit each character when we get to them, and I'll kind of give a brief description because the whole game is voice acted, and I took a very small snippet of each person's little. I focus specifically on video game roles for all but one person, and I'll save that guy for last, and then I'll talk about the music at the very end too.
Mm.
But our director of the video game is a gentleman named Adam Brennick, and he's only done two things. He directed Grounded, and he was a lead writer. Well, he wasn't the lead writer. He was an additional writer on Grounded, but he was also a lead developer on Pillars of Eternity.
Any programmer you have in the notes?
Lead programmer, yeah. What I say,
Pillars?
designer, yeah. lead programmer for Pillars, and that's it. He's kind of like he's been with the company for a while, but he hasn't led projects often.
Mhm.
And then we have two writers. Well, a lot of people, there's like 10 writers, but there are two lead writers. I'm going to talk about the two lead.
Lots of. There's not so much. We talk about the writing pedigree of Obsidian, and we're going to talk about the one game that has the least amount of writing in it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We're literally talking about the game that has the like I said, like Pentiment came out probably after. I think Pentiment came out after Grounded, and Pentiment is all writing.
It's all writing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they put out Grounded and they're like, we didn't write a lot for this. I want to write something. Then Pentiment comes out where it's literally.
But I'm saying in research for the podcast, it has more writing than we give it credit for. And I mean, it's
you
there.
did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just we might not have noticed at the time, which is
Okay.
also a detriment. I mean, that's not our fault 100%. It is partially, but not completely.
But okay, I'm gonna tackle the two writers. I'm gonna tackle the major one first, which is a gentleman named Michael Chu, and his biggest claim to fame recently is he has written those really cool intro scenes, the origin stories for the Overwatch characters, and he's responsible for the origin stories of quite a few. They don't really mean anything to me because I've never played Overwatch, but I do know some of their names,
Mhm.
and they include Soldier 76, Sombra, Doomfist, Orisa, and Ana. And
He like wrote their
he wrote their
origins.
because each one comes. I think they have a like a little opening cutscene or whatever. And then he wrote their origin stories
Hmm.
for all those characters. Now, besides those, he was also additional writer on Diablo 3, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of Blizzard stuff there. It's weird he's not doesn't work for Blizzard.
Mm-mm. And KOTOR 2. He was a writer for KOTOR 2. It just says writer, didn't say what he wrote, but so he could have just been like one side quest or
Yeah,
something.
again, it's a lot of talking.
Yeah, so he wrote that. Now, our second guy, this guy, it may be why there's not a lot of writing. His name is Mitch Lloydolt, and this is the only thing he's written, and period. It's the only thing he's had anything writing to. He himself is is an artist the majority of the time, character design, background design. But his biggest thing was he created the menus and the interfaces of Stick of Truth, like all your menus, and anytime you interact with something, he was responsible for creating the little, I guess, the icon, the interaction icon that would pop up. That was his doing.
The way the UI looked, maybe.
Yeah, and as well as one cool thing, I don't remember it unfortunately, but I like the movie a lot. But the movie Super, written by James Gunn, is there's a weird animated sequence called Puny, which it doesn't ring a bell to me, but he did the sequence for Puny, which I don't know. The only thing I remember that is like the weird tentacles popping his head open and going inside his brain, but I don't think that was him. But he did some other part called Puny.
That's weird.
So I need to maybe rewatch that movie. But that's kind of it for them. And y'all, I've spoken a bunch. So I'm gonna let Brian or you kind of jump into like what the story is. I'm probably going to let
Brian's
Brian.
apparently read a little more of a synopsis
We'll
of
let
what
Brian go.
supposedly going on in the game.
Okay, picture this. It's 1990.
Oh,
Our four heroes, Pete, Max, Willow, and Hoops, are the latest four teenagers in a string of disappearances. They wake up in a backyard shrunken down to the size of a bug, and they're trapped in the backyard by the fence. And they don't have any memory of how they got shrunk or how they ended up in the yard. And so then once you wake up, you got to go explore. And it's a survival game. So you have to find food, you have to find water, you have to build shelter, unless you turn on baby mode. And then you don't have to do any of those things. We did build some stuff for fun, but not because we had to. And then you find what is it, a lab? There's a big explosion at a tree, and you look towards the tree and you see a lab. You go over to this lab and you find a Dr. Tully. He's the one that invented the thing that shrinks you, which was called the spacer. I don't know what it stands for. I don't know.
Is it an acronym?
it's an
it's
SPAC.R.
Yeah, and I think like Burgle, the robot, his robotic assistant, I think he's also an acronym as well, but I don't know what Burgle means either. But you find the lab, you find notes that kind of start drip feeding you the story as you go. You find Burgle, which was the assistant of Dr. Tully. And so he has unfortunately also lost his memory, which is a little convenient if you ask me. And so then as we travel around, one of the things that you're trying to gather are Burgle's memory chips. And they're like cassette tapes, weren't they? Or were they VHS
floppy
tapes?
disk, I think. Weren't they floppy
Were they
disks?
floppy disks? Yeah, there you go.
90s was
Discs.
probably floppy
I think
disk.
they were
Burgle
floppy
discs,
disks.
like a 3.5 floppy. And so you have to
Shut up,
travel
old
around to
man.
find those. You find those, you take them back to a Burgle, then he remembers some of the story and works you through as you go.
Yep.
Everybody follow that?
That happened.
That happened. And the company that shrunk you was called Ominent. I never knew that while we were playing the game, I don't think, but I found that when I was reading what happened in the story, as well as the fact that there are 2 possible endings. I had no idea that was a thing until
I
I
didn't know
was
that
looking
either.
through.
I don't even remember the ending that we got. So I know we beat it, I think. Right?
I think we did.
I remember
Yeah.
fighting some crazy weird hybrid thing at the end. There was like a giant ant robot.
Yeah, because that was the mind controlled. So once you discover what was it, there because Dr. Schmechter is the doctor that works for Imminent or Ominent.
Schmechter?
Schmechter. I didn't even know her. He's the bad guy, as you would say, and he took over because it's a typical story. And the only reason that I probably like this game a little bit more than you guys was just because it tied me into my Honey I Shrunk the Kid vibes from when I was little.
Which I
And
love.
The entire
yeah, the nostalgia
that is
got
the
me. That was
entire
it.
reason this game is popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that is. It hit
And I
at a
would
good
have
time.
just rather have watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Agreed.
Instead of playing this game, I would have just watched
There's
the
not more
trilogy.
references to the movies in the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I didn't mean it's been years since I've seen the movies, but I still like you think you'd be kind of wandering around being like there'd be like something like directly from those movies, you would think. I don't know what exactly I'm thinking of, but like if you think there'd be something to be like, hey, that's from
They
the
should have
movie.
found an oatmeal cream pie. Was it an oatmeal cream pie or an
There's an
Oreo?
oatmeal cream pie.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they could eat the big chunks of cream out of it. Come on.
Yeah.
How do you not do that?
And they put that on front of the ant. That's how they rode the ant. Because you can't ride
Yeah, right. You
ants.
held it over its head.
You can't ride it. You can't tame ants.
No.
You tame anything?
I don't think you could.
Can you one of the new updates? I think you might be able to
Might
tame.
be in one of the new updates,
Maybe.
but we stopped playing before some of the
We did stop
some of
playing.
the stuff.
Well, we did go back though. We did our due
Yeah,
diligence. We went back just last week
Yeah.
and checked out some of the user created levels.
We'll talk about that after we talk about what the I guess just talk about what is involved with playing the actual game. Which to say it's a cartoon stylized graphics first person. It doesn't.
It's
We,
first
we
or
did find
third.
out that you later. Yeah, at some point we found out while we were playing that you could change the third person.
You can do
I
first
don't-
and third.
I don't know which way is better. I think it depends on what you're doing,
Yeah.
what part like you're doing.
I think if I'm building, like if we're building first person all the way, but if you're actually exploring and doing combat, I think third person is the way to go because you get to see more and
Especially if you're
like-
jumping around and trying to land on things. I think third person is the way to go for sure.
So we did. All you're really doing is kind of I won't say aimlessly wandering. You're kind of pointed in a loose direction by some of the quote unquote story objectives. We did build
like a central base.
like in
And
the
zip
beginning.
lines.
Yeah, and then eventually zip lines took a little while, but they're not as good obviously as the Death Stranding zip lines.
How could they be though?
We did build a little centralized base, which apparently I'm the guy for that because like a lot of the time was like me back at a base building stuff, and you and Blake were just out
It's
exploring.
like I'm gonna go.
I think I might have built the entire base.
I think you did.
Close to it. We brought grass planks. That was our contribution. We bought you.
We brought you stuff
supplies.
back. It's like, hey, what can you do with this? And you're like, okay. Oh, you're like, oh, cool. I can build this. I can build that. Yeah.
I think I probably spent most of my time at that base just like building it and moving things, and that was just my thing that I want. I think some of it led back, and I enjoyed it more in the game, but I think some of that was kind of back to me building stuff in No Man's Sky. 'Cause I spent a lot more time building stuff in No Man's Sky than I spent flying around in the galaxy. I don't know what that was about.
It happens.
I guess pretty cool bases that may still be alive in No Man's Sky. They tend to, if you don't visit a place, that game tends to erase your stuff
and just overgrow it.
But yes, yeah, man. Majority of my time, because anytime I ended up leaving the base to go do something, I would immediately get murdered by something. That was just exhausting. So,
and we didn't immediately start on the Super Baby easy mode. We actually tried like on some survival and Eden and all that stuff, and it did become annoying. So we like kept turning it down, and we also turned down or sped up nighttime.
Yeah.
Because it's in all games, survival games, it's daytime for like 2 minutes, and then it's nighttime for the rest of the time you're playing.
23 hours and 58 minutes.
Exactly. I don't know how to do math.
Yeah. So this is a survival game. I'll say right off the bat, not I hate survival
I have
games.
a
Blake
great
hates it.
disdain
Blake
for
hates them
survival
too.
games.
What are your thoughts, Brian, on survival games? Because it's a really surprisingly really popular genre. There's so many survival games out
Let
there.
me go back to my 400 plus hours in Ark and 150 plus hours in Rust. And
Oh yeah.
so, yeah, I'm that guy. And I was totally fine grinding supplies and that kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, this world didn't make me want to do so. I,
Is that? I don't know. If that was just because I thought it was going to be more interesting. Like if we're going to switch over to that topic, like it's just not. It is not very to be shrunk in a backyard somewhere. It's just not very interesting.
It kind of was early on, like, oh cool, these ants, or like when we get tag teamed and finally killed like a baby spider,
yeah,
and
baby
we
blue
got to
spike.
like take the stuff back to the camp and have it analyzed. We're like, oh, we can make ant armor, or we can make spider webbing to make nets. Like it was cool, and then we're like, I'm tired of this, and the fact that anytime I walk out, I die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
To me,
most.
the lack of in a good survival game, to me, obviously, my opinion, you
Mhm.
have to have better and better weapons and better armor. And it seemed like in this game, even before we turned on easy mode, armor didn't make that big of a difference, and the weapons never really advanced to a level where I felt like I was hitting. Like I never
Yeah,
got that good
which is weird
visceral
because
hit on something.
which is weird for a company with so much RPG pedigree.
But
Yeah,
you got to think a lot of the weapons were either they were just like what level 1 through 3,
Yeah.
and really it was not for combat. It
it
was
was for
like, ooh, my hammer can break candies. Ooh, this hammer can
yeah.
break rocks, or this hammer.
They had a weapon. They had their swords and spears and stuff like that
Yeah,
too. I ended up using the spears most of the time, and it was a pretty good.
spear for the range.
And
Yeah.
some of the bows were pretty. Bows or crossbows are pretty good for killing bees.
Hmm.
But the spear kind of for me. There's daggers. So there's lots of different things, but you can use your tools for as weapons as well.
And
But
yeah, I'm gonna spend most of my
you never
time.
like it's bright bronze. You never really got something that just felt like you were like you never like got like a big thing and like really just whopped an ant and felt good about it. It just
Yeah, no.
it's not that kind of game. Doesn't seem like. I'm not sure
The whole point,
what
it
they're
seems like,
going for
to
with that kind of that the way the combat is and the way the survival is because there was no like. I mean, you could take the survival out of this game and be basically the same game.
I think it would be much better as an adventure game, personally. I think if you drop the survival aspects out of it completely, of course, that's going to limit the time that is spent. But the story, when I read through it, was interesting enough as like a introductory. It's like a kid's first RPG or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe that's our main problem is we might not have been quite the target market because it was, it was dumbed down a little bit for
but you
your
think if
younger
they're aiming
gamer.
it at Honey I Shrunk the Kids people,
Yeah,
then
Yeah.
it would be
that's our
fine.
age. That's our age range.
Yeah, you missed you missed that that boat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which one are you going to choose? You going to choose the nostalgia kids, or are you going to choose new and upcoming gamers now?
they're all about like building stuff like Fortnite and
Yeah,
Minecraft.
Hmm. I'm sure it got a little bit of a little bit of folks from the Minecraft audience. I don't think I'm not a big Minecraft. Me and Blake put our fair time in Minecraft. I don't think this is as interesting as exploring and building in Minecraft.
No,
no,
God no.
And I don't know maybe a hundred grand total hours in Minecraft,
Give or
which
take
is
it, yeah.
not compared to anybody's million hours I have, or my kid probably has 1,000 hours in Minecraft this
no.
week. Who knows? But I just found it more, and it's weird because this game looks like completely different, but it's kind of like digging, and maybe some of that was like you couldn't alter the environment, which I was surprised we couldn't do when we first started playing.
Not really.
Yeah, you
No,
couldn't
you
even.
really
Could you even
couldn't.
flatten land out? Then you have to build platforms.
And to build platforms on top of it. You couldn't.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've changed that at all recently, but like the map we're on is like, and that's the difference too, I guess, because
It's a
comparing to get to
static.
it's a static map, and now they got the user created stuff, so I guess it's a little different. But like I was like when we first started, when I was going to set up our base, I was like surprised that I couldn't like move the like form the land and move the dirt and level it out and make something that I wanted to do. Unless there's some method to doing that that we were never smart enough to figure
I don't
out.
think
But
there is, because you couldn't just randomly dig with the shovel. You had to dig in specific spots and
I'm sure you had to
crap like
build a
that.
foundation or something and level that out and then go from there. But
yeah,
and that's
probably.
the thing, the payoff of the story, the little drops of narrative that they give you, it
Mhm.
wasn't enough to spur us on to continue the grind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
Mhm.
only thing we were doing was moving to the next marker on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was because it was a marker on a map, not because we wanted to know what was about to happen in the story. With your story readings, was there any thing involving your four main characters? Because the game lets you pick a character like it matters.
But it
No,
doesn't.
not really. I mean, I think those are just options to help you identify whichever one is closest to you in real life, I think is pretty much the only thing. It did explain that the reason that they were experimenting on kids is because adults that went through the shrinking process began to become raisined as they stayed shrunk, and they would shrivel up and die, which is what had happened to the doctor. We found the doctor and he was in that tank and he was all shrivelly. So that's the reason that they were abducting kids and then shrinking them, because they were immune to raisoning and they were trying to figure it out. So the
Because
whole
their bodies
time,
were still kind of like elastic and growing.
right, the whole time, whether we knew it or not, the goal of us was trying to get re-embiggened, and then to also unshrivel the doctor and return him to his family. So
Well, I did not know that.
I kind of remember the raisoning and the embiggening terms.
Well, I mean, anytime you're in, I mean, you gotta figure anytime for any video game, if you're shrunk, the goal is to get big again. I would
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's going to be the goal.
So you mentioned a couple of the names of these characters, and the game is all voice acted. And from what I remember, I think it's pretty good voice acting.
I mean,
There's voice acting.
voice
It's
acting.
not bad by any
Nobody's
no,
means.
it
really
was
there.
okay.
I don't know if there's any standout performances. Now, this podcast, of course, we babble on and on about voice acting and usually the lack thereof in modern gaming, which is mind-boggling. Sometimes we've seen to the point there's no excuse. We've seen like low-budget games with one developer, and they still manage to like hire three voice actors to voice their game. And you're telling me, and then there's
Yeah.
granted, it's a moot point because this is a big company with obviously hired voice actors, but yeah,
And they got big names.
yeah, I see it in the notes. Yeah.
First and foremost, the doctor, Dr. Wendell Tully, the man who invented the spacer, the shrink ray, is voiced by the one and only Zachary Levi.
I'm not that big of a Zachary Levi fan.
He's
I'll go ahead and say it. I know nerds like him, I guess.
you liked him in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. He's Dr. Benjamin.
He's in like 4 episodes, but yeah,
He's in like a whole second season.
Yeah, but he was
he's in and out of it.
Yeah.
and he was Shazam. So
Yeah,
man,
man, Shazam,
And before he was Shazam, he was Chuck.
man, Chuck. I feel
which
like
is
me and
better.
Blake missed the boat on Chuck completely.
We only watched it because
Every week we watched the last 2 minutes of Chuck right before the new episode of Heroes came out.
yeah, and it was always him longingly looking at what's her name, Yvette Stolen, whatever.
Every episode was all the crews gathered around and somebody says something and everybody goes "Mwah, mwah, mwah, mwah." And we're like, okay, this is how every episode ends on somebody says a line, there's a joke. I know it's a formula for a TV show, but it's like that's like the end of every episode, and then
But I'm
Heroes would
over it.
start.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have anything against Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
I've seen him do some real funny stuff. He's a pretty good actor. I don't mind him.
Yeah, he's fine. He's just I don't know.
I do like him on like podcasts and like stuff like that. He is.
If he played a voice in this game, I had no idea it was him.
Yeah, well, it's also the character that talks the least.
Yeah,
Is he the raisin guy?
Yeah,
He's raisined,
he's the
yeah.
doctor.
He's raisined.
Now, the doctor's robot, which is called Burgle, he is kind of big. Like I said, I'm gonna save the biggest guy for last, but he's kind of big. His name's Josh Brenner, and two of his biggest thing was in that really popular show, Silicon Valley.
Mhm.
He plays one of the main characters' best friends who ends up leaving and accidentally joining with like the bad people, and he gets into a position where they find out that he's friends with him, and they keep promoting him so that as like to make his friend jealous and give him like accidentally keeps getting all these like promotions. He plays a character Nelson Baguetti, but all of his friends just call him Big Head.
Big Head.
And do you remember that at all?
I remember him. I don't remember. I can't picture his face, but I remember him going to the. We watched like 2 seasons.
Two
of Silicon
seasons of it.
Valley.
He just kept
I remember him going to this other team,
like the
or
Google
something.
basically.
Yeah,
He just keeps getting promoted and
but
promoted.
but he doesn't actually know anything. When they keep promoting because they think he knows.
They
something.
think he knows stuff, and they're
Yeah.
trying to get him on their
I can't
side.
picture his face. I'll have to Google, but I do remember those a little bit of those scenes. We got to go back to that show.
Yeah, but another cool thing is for 63 episodes and a movie, he was Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon, and he was the voice of Donatello.
It's gotta be cool. It's gotta be cool to be a Ninja Turtle.
Oh yeah, I think that's really cool. And then our next one That was the Dr. Assistant Burgle. Then I'm getting to the kids now, which were Max, Willow, Pete, and Hoops. So Max is voiced by Luke Youngblood, and some of it, I just tried to do what I knew. So one of his bigger things is the oddly enough the Netflix original TV show Fast and the Furious Spy Racers, where he was the main character Frosty Benson for 52 episodes and a movie.
It's weird that
Awesome.
like
That exists.
there's like big budget, like high caliber TV shows that get canceled all the time, and Fast and the Furious Spy Racers ran 52 episodes
And a movie.
in the movie.
And a movie.
Hey man, it appeals to them kids. Anything
Maybe
keeps
it's
them
good
kids.
too. Who I don't know, but
I'm
it's
gonna
just
call
like
say no. It's
some things.
not.
Just so like 52. They made 52 episodes of this.
Hmm. But probably my favorite thing of his, and I found out like accidentally as I was scrolling, just kept scrolling and scrolling. But anyone who's a fan of the show Community, the character Magnitude, he's the one who always went pop 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 pop, and he appeared in like throughout the whole show, but it was like 20, 15 or 20 episodes
Just randomly.
throughout the. But he was like the class rapper, and he always his tagline was the word pop pop, and there's even a whole episode dedicated to the origin of the pop pop of like two balloons popping and everyone laughing, and it was just silly. But he played that character, and I thought that was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I love Community.
Community is fantastic. And now we have Willow, and she is voiced by, I'm going to butcher this name and I do apologize, Ozioma Akage. And she plays Willow. And her two big video game credits, one is more popular recently in Deathloop, the video game Deathloop, where she plays a character named Juliana Blake.
Yeah, I'd say that's big, but her next credit here you wrote down is gotta be bigger.
It's
The next
gotta be
credit
bigger. Yeah.
Gotta be bigger.
is much bigger, was in Half-Life Alex.
Yeah.
She plays the titular character, Alex
Yeah.
Vance.
There's a difference in playing Deathloop, which is I give it, it's a well-received game, but when you land a lead role in a Half-Life game,
Yeah.
that's going to be your star credit.
Yeah, I wanted to save that for a second.
Yeah.
Drum roll.
I haven't played Half-Life Alex because you need like the best headset on the market to play Half-Life Alex, I think.
So I'm gonna skip this person because they're the ones they had the most work, and I kept finding stuff as I was scrolling through their page. Like he had like over 200 and something
I
things.
see a bunch of stuff we know.
Yeah. So before him, I'm gonna handle Hoops, played by Charlotte Takahashi, and her big thing is oddly enough another Overwatch thing, is she's the voice of Diva.
Hmm.
Is Hoops was
Yeah.
There's some other things I didn't really recognize, but Diva seemed definitely worth talking
Yeah.
about.
Getting an Overwatch paycheck can't hurt.
No. Now, this final guy here, Max Middleman, oddly enough, did not voice a character named Max. He voiced a character named Pete, who looked exactly like Brian. Lanky, glasses,
Yes,
stupid
lanky.
button up.
I have always
not-
been
he's
described
he's
as
not lanky,
lanky.
You were lanky.
When-
I'm sure
when have you ever been like maybe
Before the
maybe-
5th grade.
before we were born, I'm sure you were lanky.
Yeah,
Your whole
that's what
family
it
is tall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All y'all. None of it over here. I'm short, but all y'all are tall.
All y'all tall. You know you are.
All y'all are tall. But so this guy, Max Middleman, voices the character Pete. And he has a bunch of stuff in his repertoire. You might even recognize some of it, Brian. I'm hoping, because a lot of it's anime. So he's a legitimate voice actor with like over 270 things.
You say that like Brian's an anime connoisseur.
He watches anime.
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of animes. Unfortunately, I haven't watched as much as I've heard of. I wish I had
Yeah.
watched more. But yeah.
You've probably seen one or two of these I might mention. Probably one of the bigger ones right off the bat is he is the voice, the English voice. Let me clarify. He's the English voice for all these characters I'm going to see. But he's the English voice of Saitama from One Punch Man.
I don't know who that is.
He's the main character.
That's the main character.
He's the main
Okay.
character of One Punch
And I
Man.
have
big
watched
deal.
that. So
We haven't seen it, but we know the anime's popular as hell.
I haven't watched every episode, but I have watched some.
And he plays a character Ryuji Sakamoto from the Persona 5 series. That's Skull in all of them, Persona 5 Strikers, and that Persona 5 Tactica.
Mhm.
He just keeps reprising the role, which is pretty awesome.
Mhm.
And then in another anime that was, I think it was a Netflix original anime called Seven Deadly Sins, he was one of the main characters, King.
I would have never known that Ryuji and King were the same voice actor.
And which even cooler than that is again, this is a video game voice, but he is in both Final Fantasy Remake, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. He's the voice of Red 13.
That's a completely different voice. Man, I love voice actors sometimes,
Yeah,
like talented voice
he's
actors.
Yeah,
the
that's a
voice of
lot of
Red
talent
13.
right there.
That's a completely like. I mean, from Ryuji to King to Red 13, you could have never told me it was the same. If I'd tell me his freaking credits.
Yeah,
And I bet people who would know One Punch Man. I don't know I don't know what he sounds like One Punch Man. I bet it sounds like nothing like these guys.
probably not.
That dude.
And
This
then
dude needs some more.
That's
he,
right.
he had a lot of work. There's like
Well, he's got a ton of work and a ton of good work too.
Mhm.
These are all. I mean, lead. He's the lead in One Punch Man. Ryuji's a main character. King's.
King. He's one of the
one of the
Thins.
seven deadly
He's
sins.
one of them.
Yeah.
He's one of the lead.
Red 13's the lead. I mean, so this dude's like landing big stuff, but I've never heard of this guy. It's
He's
weird.
doing his own thing.
I mean, he's kind of niche though. He's a big deal in his line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And then I'm gonna do two more, and then I'm gonna get to a kind of like the big one, not the big one, but it's one that we've actually spoken about on the podcast before. But there's a really huge anime movie a couple years ago called A Silent Voice, and it won all sorts of awards because it wasn't all like, ooh, anime with big hair and fan service. It was a legitimately good story. You ever hear of it, Brian?
Nah, that's not ringing a bell.
A Silent Voice is basically, it's about a kid who when he's like in 5th grade picks on like the deaf girl in school, and everyone's like, haha, you're so funny, dude, you're picking on the deaf girl. And one day he like rips out her hearing aid, but it's like attached like to her, and like he rips it out and she starts like bleeding. And then the whole like the entire school turns against him. He has to like pay for it, the replacement. His parents like hate him because of the amount of money they cost him being a prankster. And then he spends the next 10 years being depressed and almost kills himself. And then she turns around and like thanks him for something and like brightens his life. And it's a really beautiful, beautiful story. It's a great, great movie.
So does he play the douchebag kid?
He plays the douchebag kid. Yeah,
Hey.
Satoshi.
Hey, lead role again.
A lead role. And then it's not for Naruto, but it's for Boruto. He is for 85 episodes. He is the voice of Konohamaru.
I have no idea who it is.
Konohamaru is the son of the great grandson of the third Hokage.
Sure know about a show you've never seen.
Well, I watched Naruto.
Yeah, but not Baruto.
He's the same character. His story's just going on.
Okay.
He's the honorable grandson of the third Hokage, and he ends up being the student
take
to
that,
Naruto and
okay?
learns all of his like sexy
Yeah.
jutsus and stuff.
I tried to watch Naruto with Blake, and I got by episode 100. I was like, I'm done with this.
I don't know if we made it to 100, but yeah. But the final cool thing is we've actually spoken about him on the podcast, and we noted this character being so fun and wild. On episode 27, we talked about a game called Dragon Resonance Refrain, and he plays a character named Agnum Bulletheart.
It's the loud guy.
The loud guy with the guitar who turns the axe that turns into an axe. Yeah, he was our favorite character.
Yeah, he was really good. Again, did not know he would have been all these same people. What a range!
Yes,
what an incredible range he has.
And that's kind of, I mean, there's plenty more.
Yeah, people like with this kind of range, people like him probably have 100, 200, 300 credits.
It was 270.
Yeah, that's what
and stuff upcoming.
Crazy, very cool.
I would love to be a voice actor. I really would. I think.
Do you think you have half his range?
No, but there are people who do voice work that use the same voice for everything and still manage to make.
Now that's true. Yeah, if you
70 shows.
Yeah, he's done 27 different things since Grounded in 2020. This man is busy.
Right? It's crazy.
Grounded's the least of his credits.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Grounded happened, guys.
We gotta say some more stuff about this board game in this podcast.
I mean, it combines a lot of the stuff that
I got everything on this podcast. But I mention everything around this game is more interesting than this game.
Okay, so
we've had this before in different other podcasts. Everything around this game is more interesting.
For me, first and foremost, I have a great disdain for the survival genre. I don't like it. I struggle enough in real life for sleep and food and shelter. I don't need it in my video games. 2, I hate crafting in video games.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I can't. Crafting annoys the heck out of me.
How did we ever decide to play this?
We asked the other day. Blake said it was either me or you that
it was not me
that we should play Grounded.
I don't like crafting.
I guess I'll take the fall since you had to take the fall for that one shooting game we had to play.
Oh, Hunter. I mean, yeah,
Hunted.
that one was 100% me.
I'll take the fall for Grounded, I
That's
guess.
fine because I
Or
don't
the
like
hunt.
survival, don't like crafting, and I semi like base building, but not like this. Like if I'm playing like an RPG and I get to build up a castle or a town, I think that's much cooler because then you have like characters coming in and they're
Yeah,
doing.
for sure.
But if I'm just building something, I'm like, let me just build something.
Yeah, you didn't contribute nothing to our base.
I supplies. I
On the
contributed
supplies.
supplies.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you did what you did without me as a gatherer. You wouldn't have been able to do anything besides die because you wouldn't have materials to make your shelter. So gatherers do work too.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a positive thing I just thought of randomly and in the flow here. The way you could put down blueprints and then other people could come up. So
That
like
was
Drew,
kind
you
of
would
cool.
you
That was
would put
cool.
down I want walls here. And then we could just walk up with the supplies and
Yeah,
build
you
it.
did
And
like
that was pretty nice.
it's like a hard light construct almost. It was just like the blue hologram of it. You just walk up and
Right.
you just keep adding to it.
That was pretty cool.
I do
Yeah.
know that we almost quit the game near the very end when we had to defend those three stupid
Oh, that was terrible.
pillar. Remember that?
Yeah. The batteries, what was
They
it?
were like batteries
Yeah,
charging
it
up
was
the thing. It
batteries.
was like literally at the end of the game.
Yeah, that was
They had to
close to the
charge up
because it was the
something.
mind control bugs that were coming after us, and that's what happens on your lead up to the final fight or whatever.
Because like it was going to open up whatever thing charged up. It was going to open up a door that led to the final area where we fought that giant bug and stuff like that. But we almost gave up there. Like we literally gave it. Like we're going to turn this on one more time, and if we can't beat this, we're giving up. And then we beat
Yeah, we
it, and
changed our game plan or something.
yeah, I think we did something. We like built, and had like we everyone made sure we had like enough like level 3 weapons on everybody and crap like that. And we had to like play the game differently.
Yeah, it sucked.
And yeah, so regardless,
Which
I
I
did
remember
nothing about this game I really enjoyed.
distinctly. It was because the most difficult part of that was it ramped up the difficulty out of nowhere. It went from we're just running around randomly killing a couple bugs, and then all of a sudden this one defend mission, thousands of bugs are coming after us, and all of a sudden we're expected to just handle this entire mob.
Yeah, it was like a weird. I don't
Uh,
know. It wasn't like yeah. I remember when it first happened. We're just like, God, like is this really what's happening? And that was like when it's all when everything's falling apart and like because we each picked like a thing to defend. We were struggling to defend. All of us were struggling to each our given thing. We're like this might we might not, and we all like we might not beat this game, which is fine. But we decided
yeah,
to
we,
turn
we
it
were
on.
ready to give up,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we, lo
And
and
a lot of
behold,
that,
suffered through.
yeah. But we did, I'm trying to think of trying to think of the highs. I mean, there's a cool moment. There is like going in the koi pond and the first time you see the fish in there,
The
which is
giant gold koi or the giant koi fish, like that was
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool. And then
seeing the big spiders, which are more annoying because they're usually in the way of something you're trying to
because you
do.
have the orb weaver spiders, and then you have the wolf spiders. Like the
The
first
wolf
time
spiders
coming
were
across one of
creepy.
them in the dark is truly terrifying. But then
Did
you're just like, oh,
anybody know what the spider toggle? There's like a too scared of spiders toggle. Do
Yeah,
we?
it's got an arachnophobia toggle.
Did anybody?
we test that?
Did anybody know what it does?
No, we didn't test it. I forget what it turns them into something else.
Okay, 'cause
I
I don't have I don't have anything beyond the normal human fear of spiders, so I was kind of okay fighting giant spiders.
But they
Yeah, I
were
was
genuinely the first time you come across like a wolf spider in the dark because they only come out at nighttime,
Hmm.
like with the glowing red eyes, like under like a tree, like they're genuinely terrifying. And same thing with like orb weavers,
Hmm.
mosquitoes not so much. Bees were just annoying. Some of the what do you call the underwater spiders were creepy.
yeah, they were the diving whatever they were.
Hmm. And then you would
Diving
come
bell
across the
spiders.
ant lions in that sandbox. Those were
Those things are
pretty
mean.
terrifying in and of
Yeah.
themselves.
The sandbox have is this the game where the sandbox had
The heat.
the sand was so hot
The
it hurt you?
scorching
You had to
yeah,
get
the
hot. You
scorching
could only
sand.
move in the shade because the heat. Or
Yeah.
move around in the nighttime free.
It's kind of
Or wear that special armor.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
It was kind of like every time you saw something for the first time, like it was neat. It was fun, but the novelty wore off so fast.
And you're like, oh God, I have to do this 1,500 more times.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like you're like, oh, everything goes from like, oh, cool, and then it goes, oh,
Mm.
the next
Again,
again, here's this again,
Yeah.
which I guess that could be said about a lot of video games, but there's a lot of running around and running back and forth, kind of doing the same thing in this particular
They think they
genre.
want you to build multiple bases.
We had the one.
Yeah, they want you to build multiple bases, have zip lines to all the bases so you can go back. And we're just like, let's just turn on God mode and just go through because we were all kind of tired of playing.
It was like the 5th time that we had a complete party wipe and woke up back at that one base that we were just like, you know what, this isn't working. We're
Now,
just
occasionally, we would turn off God mode and die so we could fast travel back to the base.
Yeah.
I do know
Well,
we did that.
it's got that give up option in the menu where you can just pause and give up.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of bad. I get it. The game, mostly me. I'm a
It's
big
like
naysayer.
it's yeah, it's this game is very popular.
Yes.
They were at a time like happily showing their record concurrent player, what concurrent, was that the right word? Concurrent
Concurrent.
players. They had really high, for especially, we're not talking like nobody, people got to stop comparing games to like Call of Duty numbers, but for what Grounded had at concurrent players,
Concurrent.
when at certain times when they do a big update, and probably even now with user created stuff, like it was just like they would happily be tweeting and showing their new record numbers for how many players were playing Grounded at the same time, with really high, really impressive numbers. So we're obviously the outliers when it comes to Grounded.
Yep.
Okay, then there's no way to say what I'm about to say without coming off a little bit, I don't know, sounding condescending, I suppose. But I'm just going to say it, and I'll take whatever slings and arrows can come my way because I'm a nobody. I feel like this is a game for casual gamers, if that makes sense. Like this is it's kind of like
it's
what
not hardcore
Fortnite.
survival.
No, it's kind of like what Fortnite provides. It's a place to come together with your friends and hang out. I think that's what this game provides more so than like, because we're coming to it for an experience and we want to experience something new and different and, survive something basically. And then this, I feel like it's like, hey, man, what are you doing tonight? Let's get in here and we'll kill some insects and we'll build maybe a couple bases. What do you think? And I think that's why it gets those large concurrent player numbers. And especially, I don't know when those numbers and records were set, but if it happened after the user created content came out, I can see that for sure. And this is an excellent game, as most survival games are, for a streamer to play. And then you let your audience dictate what you're doing, where you're going, and then you find out stuff together. Like it's an excellent game for that kind of thing for sure.
Well, also we don't really talk about it all that much. We try our best, honestly, to avoid talking about it, especially when it was big. But you look at the years that this was with early access and then the full release, it was dead in the middle of you know,
COVID.
the COVID.
Yeah.
The thing.
The thing. Yeah. Yeah, I can get that, helping for the being just people would be like the be outside game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which actually I didn't see a lot of posts and stuff about that. Like the whole thing was Animal Crossing at the time.
Yeah, but I mean it falls into it. Like it's the perfect window during that. It
Yeah.
definitely could have been.
See that?
Because you said they used to post about how the concurrent players and
Yeah, well, because what Brian said, he don't know when those posts were. The user created content stuff is like within the past couple of weeks, I think,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's
And
recent.
they
Yeah.
weren't posting numbers for that. This is
Yeah.
like before we played, it was like it was like 2, 3, 4 million or something like that. Like it was really high concurrent players for any, I mean, any developer besides a Call of Duty would be like super proud of that. Like
yeah,
anybody
totally
would. I
goes.
mean, it was like that's crazy have that many players online at the same time. There's somebody recently posting their concurrent players. I don't remember who it was, but somebody else was doing really well too. I don't know if they were surprised, but they had so many people on at the same time, and it's just like you just don't see it because people are like, I mean, we're no better, like fickle with stuff like that. You know, they jump in, jump out, and never touch it again. So, but to have that
Concurrently, yeah.
millions of people playing your game at the same time, that's
Like
an
every
impressive feat. Whether we like the game or not, they've done something right.
I
kudos
wonder
to
if
you
that
guys.
happened at full release. I wonder if that
It
was
might have
around
been.
the end of
Could have been.
September 2022, because it built a
Possible.
lot of goodwill and it built a lot of buzz in
Mhm.
early access, and they didn't abandon it. And I think that's one of the awards it won this year, like Game Awards or something, was best ongoing support. I think it won that one.
You sure that wasn't that didn't go to No Man's Sky?
It might have. Did it go up No Man's Sky? Well, Sean Murray, because they came out. Well, that's a totally different thing. Anyway, he came out and revealed that light with or fire with light or
Oh,
light
yeah.
with no
His
fire.
wife's
Or
fantasy
whatever.
game, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I'm pumped.
That's gonna be we're gonna stream that,
It'll
and
be
it's
a
gonna be
co-op
on
endeavors.
it's gonna be a co-op endeavors
Heck yeah.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't done a co-op, well, because I think by the time we started playing with you, me and Blake have played it. Now I really like No Man's Sky a lot more than Blake does. Blake grudgingly played many hours of No Man's Sky with me. Actually, he played about as much No Man's Sky. What a tangent for a second. Maybe No Man's Sky. I clocked in lots of
Like
time.
200
And
hours had
there'd
to have
be
been.
Blake clocked in maybe less than a quarter of
I
that. 'Cause
clocked
Blake
in
would
close
get
to
bored.
half.
Blake would get bored and leave, and I would keep doing what I was doing in No Man's Sky. I don't think No Man's Sky is a very good co-op game.
Yeah,
It
it's one of
weirdly
those.
built kind of like in a world where you think it would be. So I kind of worry. I hope the new fantasy game, whatever you call it, a light something, is a better co-op because like it's so easy in No Man's Sky to wander off and do your own thing.
Like literally go to a whole other planet or
We're
do.
going on all the
Yeah.
freaking galaxies.
Yeah.
I hope this new thing that's like I don't know. We're branching off because we're tired of talking about
Well, the
grounded.
only thing we haven't talked about is I think y'all need to talk about it because y'all liked it a little more than I did. I still enjoyed it,
We liked one level.
but we could talk about the user
That was
created
it.
content.
Yeah, most
Just-
recently, I think in the past couple of weeks of the recording of this podcast, it has to be. It's only been a couple of weeks, right? When they launched the
I think so.
Playgrounds.
It's got to be 4 weeks or less.
user
Yeah,
created
it's
content.
it's a month or less, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're
4 weeks a month. Ooh.
maybe out of three of us,
I know the word.
I don't know how you were feeling about it. I was like, this is where some games can shine. Like I talked about when we were streaming it. I talked about like Little Big Planet. The coolest part of Little Big Planet sometimes was going online and seeing the insanity that people did and seeing stuff that you didn't know you could do in that game. Is what I expect the internet to provide in user created content.
Well, that's the whole purpose of like Mario Maker
Yeah.
2. It's the
That
point.
just
Yeah,
it's in
that's the
it's in a
thing.
lot of other games too, like other game like Halo, like Forge, and it's like if you've seen that. I mean, everybody's seen the insane stuff people have built in Forge and Halo, like things that just can't. Well, no, we built like I built a maze. Come on, anybody can build a damn maze.
We had fun.
People have built like whole like here's this from a movie that you recognize. It looks like the thing from the movie. You're like, how did you build that? And you're like, I spent 5,000 hours. It's okay. People do that though. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was leaning into. I had hopes. Now, I didn't like Grounded that much, but I'm hitting the hopes. I'm like, okay, this will be a cool thing. Somebody's done something in here that's going to be like, we're going to be like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet's infinite. It's almost guaranteed. The list of stuff is very short. I will say right off the bat. I don't know what y'all think.
Well, y'all did all the picking. I just.
Oh
y'all
yeah, you didn't actually look at the list. I looked
I
at it
didn't do
separately
it.
from Brian.
Yeah.
We were like Brian was hosting and picking, and it kind of eventually after he picked a couple of things, I was like, I want to see this list, and there's just not a lot to choose from.
And it was like poorly curated.
Oh,
And
very poorly
user created
curated.
content can, it's a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. Really bad descriptions on what most everything actually was. Like
Mhm.
didn't let you know much of anything. Like it had tags at the bottom that tells you whether it was, multiplayer, whether it was co-op, whether it was survival, whether it was RPG, what were you doing in this thing? And sometimes that made sense and sometimes it didn't.
Yeah,
We played about like 5 different maps.
At
we
least
played like 20 different things.
for a second or two. Yeah.
Yeah,
We gave
20
like
20
5 of them we spent a couple of minutes in.
Yeah. We played 20 out of a number of things where I was expecting there to be thousands of options.
Yeah, like we made it to the end of the list. Usually, like you're talking about, when it comes to user created content on a game, usually you don't make it to the end of the list.
Yeah, you'll never
You
see the end of the
can't,
list.
yeah.
No, you get lost in the first 15 pages and you're done. This one we got to the end. We're like, oh, that's all they had. Okay.
Yeah. Now, granted, it's still new, but like I said, the internet's a crazy place, man. There should be like, and I'll say it like right here. And we'll talk about a couple of the things we got into. Nothing wowed me. There's one level, one map we're going to talk about the most that me and Brian liked. Blake tolerated.
I was there.
Blake tolerated. Me and Brian liked. We're probably going to go back to it. Even that is not even one. It's not wowable. Wherever the word is, it's not really impressive. It's not even an original idea.
It's just
At
a
all.
copy.
It's a concept that just works, and I think this is popular on the internet. And somebody just built it inside Grounded, so it works. We'll get to that one in a minute. Nothing else we saw though, like anything else we were seeing, like people did build mazes and stuff like that. It's just I don't know. It's just more grounded, and that's kind of
Not what I wanted.
not what I was looking for. I don't know. Were y'all? Was I alone in expecting to be wowed at some point?
A little. No, I was expecting
that's-
something.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on for the
So-
user created content specifically. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it
Like
was.
some sort of like, oh snap, like that was
To
cool.
see something, have something built in a way, or have something, because people will play with mechanics. They'll take a mechanic and something will shift or something will happen, and you'll be like, I didn't know the game could do that.
Right. You expect to find things that should have broken the game, but they made it work. That's what
Yes,
you're looking
exactly.
for.
Yeah, and there's, and we didn't click on all the things.
No.
Some of, like you said, some of them are just like, I don't know what this means,
Yeah.
or this doesn't say anything, or it's just like sometimes it's like grounded 2, or like, this ain't grounded 2. I know that, so I'm not clicking on that dumb thing, and so that's all it says is
And it
grounded
seemed like
2.
there was a majority like RPGs. People were making their own twist on the RPG,
Yeah.
and they turned it into Dungeons and Dragons, or they turned it into Skyrim and grounded in that world. But to want to do those, you had to want to exist in that world, and I never really wanted to continue existing in that world. Really,
Yeah, there was a dungeon when we played for a while where like you could open a chest. Each of the chests was sort of clever. Each of the chests was like had a sign that said what class it was. You open the chest and you had stuff kind of tailored to a class, sort of in a way. And we played that for about 10 minutes. And I think it was me where we were like walking through a place and I was just like, all right, cool. I get it. I'm kind of done with this. And I think y'all kind of hopped on. I kind of like readily agreed. I'm kind of like I ran around these hallways kind of enough in this. It's kind of had my fill of it.
Yeah.
Lots of things couple of things we dabbled in that seemed to be completely aimless, which is, like you said, like Brian's, that's the double-edged sword of user created content. Something you're walking around something, and you're like, I don't know what they want to happen here.
But it's not happening for me.
Stumbled into a
right?
couple of things that weren't in English. That was fun.
Always, you're like, I don't know what these words are.
I will say the mansion was kind of cool.
What was the mansion
The
one?
escape room mansion thing.
Oh
We
yeah,
also gave up on it.
We gave up on it. I got
We
bored
did.
of it. It was like once you hit enough buttons and find enough keys, and you're kind of like, okay.
You're like, I need to find 12? This is insane.
Yeah. How many do I
But
need?
I mean, how many, but it was, you could tell that of
It was a labor of love.
a labor.
I
Yeah,
respect the effort. Yeah, I respect the
for
effort that
sure.
went into that to figure out all the
Respect it.
intricacies.
Yeah. So that was probably next to the one we played the most. That was probably the best one I think that we played. Can y'all think of any others that might have anything else that kind of, because the first thing we played was just a maze.
Yeah.
I pressed a button and a bunch of bugs fell on me. I don't know what was going on
Oh,
there.
that weird underground. I
That was
ended
the
up,
maze where I was like, where Blake was trying to like follow me this way, and we were cracking up on the stream about Blake was like
well, I knew
running with circles.
I ended up getting out. Like I knew where I was going, but the
Yeah,
maze was so.
to your credit, you made it out and then came in and rescued me because I was like, I lost you. And you're like, just
Yeah.
stay there. I will get you out.
And I did. And we came back. No, Drew ended up going backwards.
I got teleported.
Yeah. And then we made it out of the maze into like a giant battlefield and died and said, oh,
Yeah.
Where I pressed the button, it started spawning insects on top of me.
yeah.
So I mean,
I
there,
don't-
like you said, there were times. I mean, it's not a negative experience overall. If anything, it's it, neutral to a little bit positive.
Yeah, I think the word, like I said, there's a negative aspect. It's the curation, like
Yeah.
really being hard to figure out what, and like you were first picking off like what's it called, hot this week, or right
New
now.
this week or hot this week,
It was just
and
like,
then went to
okay.
the best of all time.
Yeah, which
And
was the same because the list was so short. It was a lot of the same stuff.
yeah, it was.
Um,
Which we give it 6 months and go back again, which we're not doing. But if we
I mean,
did, who
I'm gonna leave
knows?
it. I'm gonna leave it installed this time for a little while. Unless I need space for something else, I'm gonna leave it
Well, it's
installed.
small, so that helps.
Yeah, and if we want to go back every couple of weeks and spend, like maybe one, I don't even know if once a month, once a month, just all three of us hop onto one of our streams and just
Look at the new levels.
dabble for a couple hours. I mean, we like to if we ever, like I said, if we ever have any listeners that want to contact us and drop in on that kind of stuff, and we might try to get I told the other guy we might try to invite Tex from one of our previous guest episodes to come in and drop in with us and just do a little stream with him and kind of just go explore some more levels. And there's
Just to
there's
try
gotta
for
be
a night.
gotta
There's
be
got to be
something.
some sort of hidden
Something
gem.
has to happen at some point. And though it's got to be releasing new stuff to build with. But there's one level we liked, at least me and Brian liked, and
I liked it at first, but I got tired of it quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely long, and we haven't completed it yet. I think it has that has an
It has a definite
It has an
ending.
ending, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all know more about it than I do, but this is a genre of a popular genre in YouTube. I think Brian, you said you know of another game that made this stuff popular.
Yeah, it blew up about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago on Steam, called Only Up, where you're a kid in a favela and you're just starting from
A what up?
junk at the bottom, trying to it's a ghetto neighborhood, a
Oh,
favela.
oh.
I think, what is it? Cuba is where this person was from. I don't
Okay.
remember. I don't want to mess it up. That's why. But that's specifically, you're like a kid trying to climb. I mean, it represents, their struggle to get up out of poverty and to
Yeah.
make it in life. And so it was one person made this game, the whole thing. And you start at the ground level, and your goal is to make it all the way as high as you can go. And I never made it very far, but it sure is fun to try.
Hmm. And I'd mentioned to you that you should definitely you look on Steam and look at Bennett getting over it with Bennett Foddy. You need to look at that. I'm
Yeah,
sure the
yeah.
games are very different, but all you do is climb a mountain of random stuff. And
And you are a man inside a pot, and you have a sledgehammer, and you have to climb a mountain.
Perfect.
yeah, look it up. So and I think there's been I've seen other videos of people like those driving games, or like driving a bus or driving a truck or whatever, like downward. Everything seems to go down. So your version that you saw, that wherever is going up.
Yeah, you were going up.
Yeah, and we did play another map that was like a going up map that was a lot weird.
Yeah, which we did
hopping
not
down
like.
was a lot more fun than hopping up.
So yeah,
Yeah.
what we landed on was the level actually called Going Down. Is that what caught your eye or something like that?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Or Only Down, because
Only Down. I think it was Only Down.
because you recognize Only Up as the popular
Yeah.
thing. So Only Down. So what obviously is what the name is. Now I don't think this has any kind of message. Let's be honest. I think the other
No,
version of
this
the game
one does
has.
not. No, it's just
There's
fun.
no message here. Is that your start is high, probably as high as you can build something in Grounded, and it's a series of objects going down, and your goal obviously is to get all the way to the ground, is to get grounded.
Uh-huh.
Hee
And I mean, it's
uh,
just a platformer, and you can play it first person or third person, and you're just trying to make the jumps.
yeah, sounds dumb, and it is, but it's the most fun we probably had.
And
Yeah,
I respect the people that put that in there and placed all those objects and made sure that it was, possible to do and that kind of thing. You got a lot more talent for that kind of thing than I do. I'll give them credit for that.
Patience.
Yeah, good gosh, the patience.
So I'm guessing I don't know what the builder mechanics are in like for level designing and thing, but I bet they just hit the thing all the way up to the sky as far, because you can't actually see the bottom until you get, as the game loads. You're so high it hasn't loaded everything. You can only see it as if you fall, you can fall until you all the way until you hit the ground. But most of me involved.
Happened a lot.
Well, did both you and Blake hit the ground? Because I always hit start and killed my character.
I fell like the first time to see how long it took, and it was like 2 or 3 minute fall.
Yeah, we both did that. We had to experience it.
Yeah.
It is fun to be climbing around other people. Like it's different. Like if you're doing it by yourself, it's one thing, but to be like
Yeah.
hopping around somebody else, I think that was kind of added
It's-
to the fun a little, the
it's a little more
entertainment value of it.
scary.
Yeah.
For sure. A little more heart palpitations. Because
It was definitely the best part to watch a person fall past you as you're going,
Yeah,
hey,
like,
did you make that? Like, oh, guess not. Okay.
That's not the way to go.
Yeah. So only down, only up, down,
Only down, only down.
Only down in Grounded
is our only really recommended. I mean, maybe we don't have the name for the mansion one, but it was kind of cool too. But something we actually plan on going back to. We don't know when specifically. Maybe if we have like a,
Because we do need to beat Wolong first.
if we have I mean, granted, Grounded, the level would load up in a couple of minutes, so we could really have like a bad night in Wolong, or it wouldn't be too bad because we've had nights in Wolong where we beat a boss, and and Wolong is divided into like levels. Like if we don't want to start another level,
Yeah,
we could
that'd be good.
drop into Grounded. I mean,
Yeah, 30 minutes of that.
Maybe that's a better way to think of Grounded, is like a drop in, click on a map, because it would take all of 5 minutes to drop into Grounded and load a map up.
Yeah.
We'll see. But we are going to go back to this. Me and Brian do want to get to the bottom. We want to get grounded. I'll say that joke again.
hilarious.
Or at least get entirely so frustrated that we throw something into the wall.
Yeah. We didn't mention the stamina. Like people so the creators can control what's active in their games.
And I forgot to send a message to that creator. I really did mean to do that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You got this level. We'll be able to find it again. It's unnecessary to have stamina in any of these things, as far as I could tell. Like we turned it off in the main game. It's just irritating in a survival game, period.
Yeah.
But like it serves no purpose in this particular level. Like every now and then you have to stop walking for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, it just slows you down.
It's just
and I don't know
irritating.
why
It's just, like,
you want to slow down.
Yeah. But they have control because we did play a different one. I think maybe the going up one, whatever it was.
There was no
It
stamina.
had stamina
Yeah.
turned off. So it's
Yep.
just like, well, just turn it off. Like if it's just a toggle.
Yeah, just don't have it.
I would prefer it. Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I say it like he said it in the beginning of the podcast, but if you follow us at twitch.tv/2spoken controllers, you'll see us go back to this. Or if you click on it now, you might actually have if it saves our videos for 30 days, whatever it is,
It saves them, I believe.
You'll have a stream of us doing all this mess, and there'll probably be a few more in the future. I wish it would be like if the content for the creator content was better, we would make it like a once a month thing. It would be a whole point would be go back to Grounded
And check the new stuff.
check it out new.
Yeah.
Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Do we plan things out that much in this podcast? Never.
No.
We're lucky to get the amount of planning that me and Blake provide now with the this quote unquote new format we're kind of doing, which is basically not available for this episode because we played this game before then.
Yes, but I mean, I had extra notes,
extra notes and stuff and like that. Anybody got any more thoughts to share about the game itself or user created stuff or anything? Anything at all about Grounded?
Say one thing, because I know we've been nothing but negative, and I know I'm probably a little bit higher on this just because of my proclivity for survival games and that kind of thing. I think it has a niche. I think it's got its own spot, and I think that is like me as a dad. I could definitely see, especially when my daughter was a little younger, this would have been perfect for me to sit down and be like, hey, I'm going to teach you about survival games. And we're going to start with this game. And it's cute, it's not too scary. The spiders can be scary, but they're not too scary. And you can turn them off if you want to. I think it's like a good, I don't know. I hesitate to call it a family game, but I think it could be for sure. I don't think there's anything that bad in there.
Intro survival.
Have you tried to play it? Have you showed it to her at all? Have you thought about playing
well, that's the thing. She's a teenager now, so she's just like, whatever. So, I mean, you got that.
So you guys
got
don't
that
play
sweet
Division
spot
together anymore?
Oh, we still play Division. That's teenagers love to shoot stuff. They're all about that.
Well,
yeah.
What do you think all high schools are made
shoot
for?
this human in the head. It feels pretty good.
Yeah, right. Take out the terrorists.
Yeah, I say we're negative because we don't like the genre. Basically, well, Brian's a fan of the genre. Brian,
I hate the genre.
Blake hates the genre. I'm not a fan either. We've played it,
I play a bunch of them all the time, never my own accord.
Yeah, I've drugged Blake into Ark a little. I mean, I played maybe 10 hours of Ark. I wish we played Ark with you because apparently you did like the big experience of Ark. We saw like one dinosaur in Ark and never saw anything.
Oh no, man! I've tamed everything from a Giganotosaurus all the way down to the smallest little. Yeah, it's like the gigantic T-Rex.
I mean, Gigantosaurus?
Trailers.
If you live in a house with a kid that's addicted to dinosaurs and watches Dino Dan, you find out that it is not Gigantosaurus. It is Giganotosaurus. And this kid's Canadian. He knows his dinosaurs. Okay.
Sure, yeah. Dinosaurs are all native to Canada. I knew that.
That's where they come from. And I tamed a Quetzalcoatlus. That's the big flying one that you build.
Yeah, that makes sense because Quetzalcoatl, that makes sense.
Yeah, there you
it
go.
was found in Mexico.
I'll tell you, man, the trailers for Ark really sell that game, and then you play it and you're like, oh, I
got to build up to all that crap.
I can't drink this water, I'll die. This sucks.
You got to have
the good water.
You got to have a group of people to play. Without a group, it's not fun because you got to have multiple inputs. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very short time. It was maybe there's I think there's another one coming out maybe or.
Oh yeah, Vin Diesel, man. Vin Diesel's going to be in it.
So maybe when you jump into that one, we'll be jumping into that one with you. And then I have that, and then we played
maybe
we played Stranded Deep is another game that looks really cool in a trailer where you're shining an eye with the sharks.
It is not cool. Yeah,
couldn't figure out what to do.
Yeah, but that game is terrible regardless. Like I like survival games. It's horrible. I did not like that game.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Rust. I've heard of Rust because it's a known game, but I don't know much.
Yeah, if you're a nihilist and you're into self-flagellation, Rust is great because you get on there and you spend an entire night and you're doing awesome and you got your base built, and then these dudes roll up with assault rifles and murder you and burn everything to the ground and kill you, and then you start all over again the next day.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Gosh, no way, couldn't do it. I think they can do that same stuff in the on the public servers on
In
Arc, can't they?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, there's like clan wars and everything. If you play the public servers, you're talking like clans with a couple hundred people each, and they roll up with like armored T-Rexes, and you're standing there going,
Can't they?
"I give up."
Can't they lock you in a cell in Arc and you can't actually get out unless somebody lets you out? Was that Arc? Like
Arc,
if
you can
somebody,
definitely have that happen. Yeah,
yeah, I thought like you could build like prison cells and you can lock your
yeah,
and you can log out of the game and log back in and you're still in this
yeah.
prison
You're
cell.
still in it. Yeah, the only way to get out is to die.
Crazy.
And I think Rust has that too. Yeah, people can build, and the only way to get out is to either kill yourself trying to break through the walls, or to break through the walls and get out. But in Rust,
Insane.
if you do that, a lot of times they just camp outside because there'll be groups of these people who've got like a 50-person clan. So there's always somebody online. So there's always somebody out there waiting on you. And
Who's
they
on
just,
guard duty today?
yeah, they just kill you. You're like, oh, thanks. I'm glad you don't have a life.
Thanks, bud.
It's insane.
I mean,
Bonkers. Yeah, so maybe Arc and Arc 2, whatever they're going to call it in the future.
Delark.
All right. Okay. So one thing we do, one of our new things we do is end of the games is silly little ratings that don't really mean anything. We do it as a joke, kind of tied to me and Blake's other the movie podcast. We kind of started on there rating things because we think it's funny. The ratings don't really mean anything, but we enjoy doing it, and it puts a little spin on the end of the episode. So, Mike, you got yours?
I do, but before we do that, I had one thing.
Oh, a music thing.
We want to talk about the music, and I think you had the first guy, Brian, didn't you? The Justin Bell.
Yeah, well, I didn't have much about him. That was just that he was a participant.
All right.
Okay.
So I'll go a little bit into that. So Justin Bell, which is their first guy, and he's like their, I guess, like their house person, because he's done a couple of their other games, including New Vegas and Stick of Truth, as well as Armored Warfare. And then he's done 77 episodes of music for the TV show slash podcast Critical Role. He's done a lot of music for that.
Hmm.
And that's kind of his thing. And then there is another group called Finishing Move Incorporated. And it's a duo, Brian Trifon and Brian Lee White. And they have done a bunch of music for a couple of video games, particularly Halo Wars 2, Massive Chalice, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Crackdown 3, Borderlands 3, Grounded, and the Callisto Protocol. And they were nominated for their Borderlands 2 music.
Man, not going to go on that tangent, but I hated Borderlands too.
But that's, but the
It was a
music was
letdown.
okay.
Hmm.
It did whatever. But the main thing I bring up is the end credit song after you beat the game. Oh my God, I didn't write down what episode he was on, but we've actually did this musician on the podcast previously. His name is Mark Ribulet, aka Loop Daddy. And he is a chip artist or a loop artist where he just loops his own stuff. He does a lot of free flow, I guess,
like
or
watch his video
or ad lib.
Yeah, he's something else. He creates music on the fly,
Yeah.
It's weird. He like starts with like a little beat and adds a little piece and adds a little piece and adds some words. But he does it spontaneously. He kind of just does it.
And the song that we played on the podcast was called "I'm a Flamingo."
Yeah.
And he came. I don't know how they got a hold of him. I couldn't figure out because even like the Wikipedia, nothing really mentions that except for that he was responsible for the end credit song called "It's the End," which it should be playing sometime soon if Brian does his job right. Which
I mean,
better.
maybe you get what you pay for.
I guess a lot then. You're still alive, ain't you? Your life's worth something.
That's a good point. Good point.
It'll play off the podcast.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because we enjoy Mark Ribulet, aka Loop Daddy, but I don't like calling him Loop Daddy. It feels weird, so I just call him Mark.
Ain't no band my daddy. I had one more thing that I forgot about as well to throw in here. It's small, it's short, it's little, it's tiny. They announced a TV series in July of 2022 from Brent Friedman as the developer of that. I don't know. I guess it'd be Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the series.
It's supposed to be an animated series, yeah, but it didn't say who it's
Depends on what we go back to audience again.
This who are you going to target?
It could be a cool TV show or it could be a really boring child show.
Yeah.
Could go either way. remember when they announced that. I wonder if it's kind of gone nowhere. What in your notes, Blake? Because
I do have it that it was a TV show, but I couldn't find a whole lot.
Yeah, that's all it said. But I mean, that was 22. So I mean, production on TV, especially if it's animated, it's going to take a while, and they may not even cast the thing by now, or haven't found the backers to pick it up, because I don't know if Xbox is going to support the television show. I mean, Xbox has got plenty of money for games.
But the only information that I have for the show is that, like you said, Brent Friedman is creating it, and he is responsible for Star Wars Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and then Star Trek Enterprise.
All those are good.
Although he's responsible for writing all three of those.
I really love Rebels. If y'all hadn't watched that, that was good.
And then the director, the person attached to direct it, is a gentleman named Brian Goodrich, and he directed every episode of the live-action Halo TV show.
I haven't watched it, but recently I didn't. What I've heard, it wasn't well received, but just announced the season 2.
Yeah, just announced it, but I liked it. If you can get past the fact that Master Chief takes his helmet off and then proceeds to get naked later on in the season, I thought it was an okay sci-fi show. If you can get over the Halo part of it and get over your hangups on that.
I'm not even sure. Like, Master Chief taking his helmet off, to me, isn't that big a deal. I'm just like, oh wow, John 117.
Well, it's just like some random guy, whoever the actor is.
Yeah, he wasn't. It's not, and that's the thing. I think, like, if he took his helmet off and it was Brad Pitt, yeah, I would have had a problem with it. But he took his helmet off, and like, I don't know who that guy is, so sure, he's Master Chief, whatever.
Or if
if that was their way of just like avoiding that whole.
Yeah, it's somebody. He's just a person.
It's just a guy. Maybe that's their way of doing it, because everybody expects.
Yeah, I'm sure they thought of it.
I don't know what they wanted it to be in the video game. Took his helmet off. It's going to be some like pixelated mess on the Xbox. Like, who do you want to
think it'd be artistically, it'd be cool if they showed him take his helmet off. Like, you see them and you see the helmet set up, and they never showed you, so you could just imagine somebody in the suit.
I think so much work. I think that is it. They show his face pretty early, I'm guessing. Maybe?
Yeah. Within maybe the first or second episode.
I bet it was just like, get it out of the way.
They had to rip that Band-Aid off.
Get it,
because the Mandalorian, they faced the same problem whenever they were going to take the helmet off Mando and show him. So
yeah, that one.
But then they
weirdly enough, I've played a lot more Halo and and stuff like that, and I'm really not a Star Wars. We talk about Star Wars, but like Mandalorian being like the best Star Wars thing we've seen. That Mando taking his helmet off bothers me more in like that show that exists for like 2 years. Him helmet coming off in that first season bothers me a lot more than Master Chief taking his helmet off. I don't know. I just kind of wish they didn't.
Because his helmet means something. Like in the lore, whether you want to get that deep or not, it means something. That's a thing. Master Chief never talks about, I will never take my helmet off, or my Marines will die. I mean, he's just in a uniform.
It's not the way.
It's not the way.
Oh man, yeah, I get that. Well, there's another good tangent for us.
We're good at that.
Yeah, the whole podcast on tangents. That's what podcasts are normally, in general.
But how do we want to do the order of the ratings?
You can do you, Brian, then me. Mine's
mine's
barely half-hearted and thought of.
All right, so for me, I'll go ahead and do mine. I've said everything I'm going to say about the game. Blah 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 blah. So I give it 4 giant koi fish out of 10.
And
4 giant koi fish out of 10.
To reflect my slightly more positive outlook, I went with 6 pots of aphid honeydew out of 10.
That's kind of high.
Mine, weirdly between y'all, I was thinking maybe a 4. I thought right down the middle for a 5 because it's a perfectly fine game. I'd have 5 randomly placed floating objects out of 10 for going down.
For reference, the like Metacritic and like if you average out all of its ratings, it averages an 8.5. Low end is 7.5 to 8. High end is 9 and 9.5.
Not the game's fault. I don't like the genre.
Yeah.
It's not.
But I thought it's funny that even, I mean, I'm supposed to be a guy that loves survival games, and I didn't even hit the median or come close to it. Like, I would never think to give this game an 8.
No, it's definitely not 8 material. No, it's so I don't know what folks are seeing when they see an 8 in this.
No, yeah, I will admit I thought I was being generous with 6, but
it's not like
it's not bad. None of it's bad.
The game's not broken. Like, it's nothing kind of boring. I don't know. It's just like everything works. I think everything works the way they intend it to work. It's just not. We're not the audience. It's weird. It's crazy that. Well, mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. Me and Blake's tastes are somewhat similar sometimes, but it's weird. Like all three of us are kind of like meh. It ain't like, we're all like all our opinions are like extremely different. I mean, and you're like you said, you're pretty experienced in survival games, and you still kind of fall kind of low. So maybe it's just I wonder how much of the minority. I've never read really any negative reviews about Grounded, so not that I've gone hunting for them, but I do skim stuff sometimes. I'll skim online posts and I'll skim reviews, and then even the funniest place to get reviews sometimes is the Xbox reviews sections. It's a war zone there. I don't know if you ever scroll through those. It's just
Yeah, I
like
have.
it's up the ups and downs there. It's a freaking roller coaster. There's a good place to read reviews that mean nothing because nobody cares about reviews there. And I tell the pocket before my Grounded wouldn't have any. I don't think it has any hard copies. But some of my favorite reviews are on the GameFly website. As you're rating games, of course, and you'll get like 1-star rating. The disc wouldn't play. And I was like, that's not the game's
Well,
fault
that's yeah,
necessarily.
that they didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, so that's always some of my favorites. I think that's all we have for this. I mean, this is probably not. What was our last co-op endeavors? Anybody remember? Was that the hunt, or was that something before that?
I think the last one was like the hunt and turtles together. I
Was it
think.
Hunt and Turtles?
Oh, did we smash them? Yeah.
Yep, yeah, we
I can
put that
figure out
together.
real quick. Hold on.
So that's kind of like two co-op things kind of back to back that weren't exactly loved. I think we've had this ongoing thing where we've been playing a lot of co-op games. I have a list of all the co-op games we've played, and we've never really had anything so far that we're like, man, we're so glad we played this and we want to play more and I can't wait to get back to it. So it's not really a spoiler, but the list of games coming up, and it's like we're in a weird place for these episodes. Is like next is Anthem, which is going to be a weird, eventually a weird conversation of a game that has its highs and lows. Then Monster Hunter Rise again starts off kind of high and takes a dip, and then the Division 2, which is maybe mostly positive, and then takes a massive dip at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, they screwed themselves and us.
Then the episode where people chase us with pitchforks, where we tell everybody that we don't like Diablo 2.
Don't say it.
I'll say it now. We'll get canceled. And then Zombie Army Trilogy.
Which we want to try to get Zombie Army 4 in there before we do that. I think
another game that's kind of like, oh, whatever's going on here. And then finally after that would be right now we're playing Wo Long. But finally Wo Long's probably, is it the best out of that thing? It's weird having a bunch of upcoming games that like I don't know, haven't been like we have more fun like hanging out and playing them than we're gonna have like discussing the experiences. I guess we haven't really landed on something we've all just really really freaking enjoyed. I don't think we're chasing that dream. I guess of just landing on a phenomenal co-op game of some
you
sort.
can't beat the Dark Souls. That's
Yeah,
that's what I was
the
saying.
problem. I
Dark
think
Souls
the first
3
thing we
was
did,
just
first thing we did was Dark Souls 3. We set the bar way too freaking high.
We got
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2 and 1.
Now we've played a lot of games. We talked about going into Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 1, and eventually Elden Ring, but I was like, I want to put some time between it. Now we've played like 6 other freaking games. It might be about time to do a Dark Souls 2, 1, or
yeah,
Because
maybe
even with
Elden Ring.
Wolong being a Souls-like, it's
Wolong's
not.
a Souls like it's not.
It's not the same.
It's not,
It's
though, no.
level-based.
Yeah, level base is irritating. Maybe we're about due for a Dark Souls. I guess.
Did
Yeah,
we did we
episode
find it
92.
on sale? 'Cause that's the whole point. We're supposed to play.
92 was Dark Souls.
No, 92 was Shredder's Revenge and Hunt Showdown. That's the last co-op we did.
Co-op endeavors.
Yeah. We're having more. They're replacing the
GameFly episodes.
GameFly spot now. So at 105 at 115, one week to 115. So we got for a while early when we first started doing co-op endeavors episodes. I was worried we would get to them too fast and wouldn't have enough games. And now we have too many games and not enough episodes, which is fine. It's fine to have plenty of games to fall back on. But I don't know. We're rambling now, and this is turning into a long episode that Brian has to chop up.
Yeah,
I
I
love
got to
it.
get to bed soon.
Desperately make it try to sound good. So that's all we have. I will before we leave. I'm going to go tell everybody the next game we're going to do. We're going back to the regular two smoking controllers, the new sort of format thing without Brian here. But if you want to hear or because you can't see him here, but you can see him on the stream. We mentioned on our streams that we do kind of rotate who's on camera and kind of who's hosting the stream, kind of a perspective change each time. So if you want to hear or see more of Brian, he's going to be on the on our all of our Twitch streams at twitch.tv/2 smoking controllers. He'll be joining us there for all of that. And he'll be back on the podcast, of course, again for our next Co-op Endeavors episode. But with that said, our next game we're doing is a game that was it was on Game Pass. It's gone now, so too bad. Is a sort of cute little adventure game called Beacon Pines. It's cute and it kind of strange, then kind of lackluster, and then kind of dark, and then lackluster again. It was a weird little experience. I don't regret playing it, but we'll talk about that more on the next episode. Yeah. So that's what we'll see. So we Beacon Pines on the next episode. I guess that's all I've got. I will thank, of course, Jared and the guys with Merge for letting us use the song "Letting Go" at the beginning of the podcast. Like I always say, sometimes it's the best part of the podcast, and that's perfectly fine. If you want to hear the whole song, go to there's a link to them in the show notes. Go to their Spotify page and listen to their album. Follow them on social media for tour dates and stuff. They had some really big shows at the end of last year. I hope that give them some momentum. Like they were opening for like Saliva, and they opened for 10 years, which is awesome. I wish it's like a 2.5 hour drive for us. It's kind of a big haul.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did go see Emerge last year in their hometown, which was awesome. But that's a drive we just can't do all the time. We really should have gone to that 10-year show though, because it's such a cool show. But anyway, follow them on social media if you're in the Tennessee, because they're here in Tennessee with they're a couple of cities over. But if you're in the Tennessee area or in Tennessee period, follow them, and they're obviously touring around us, so they will be touring more soon, I'm sure. So definitely go see Emerge and just tell them Drew and Blake from the podcast sent you there. He'll definitely appreciate that. Also, thanks to Mladen Markovic, aka Devious.Pixel, for the art for this podcast and taking all the money that should go to Brian.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we have. And of course, the last thing I always do is always thanks Brian for editing the thing. You're never here for that, but we do appreciate the time you spend editing. And apparently, we're not going to talk about editing that much, but you did pick up a new technique that I took to our other podcast to make editing a little bit faster. So we appreciate that.
I'm glad to contribute something back.
Yeah, that's awesome. Brian, you got anything to share at all for Blake wraps it up? I mean, I put you on the spot. You probably got nothing.
No, I got nothing except thanks. I'm just glad to be in and to be doing the co-op endeavors.
Yeah, it's fun playing games. We talk about it sometimes. We should have. It was the past year and a half. We started playing games with you, and we're like, we missed out on just tons of freaking years of games we should have been playing.
Oh yeah, we lost a lot of time.
Yeah, we all have the same sense of humor, and we all play tons of video games. We should have been doing this a long freaking time ago.
Yep.
We're making up for lost time now. We're no longer a list of games we don't like, but we'll find something good eventually.
Hopefully. Oh yeah.
All right. And last but not least, Blake.
And I want to wish everybody a good evening and good night.
It's the end of the game, the end of the game. You did it, baby, yo, I said you did it. You finished the campaign. It's over, it's done, time to celebrate. Yo, you can sit back, relax, let the credits roll through. No more having to eat the magic mushrooms or get eaten by a giant spider. Yo, now you're through. Bam, take it easy, take a load off. Let me take care of you and let the credits roll. Really did did it, you finished it, it's over, baby, now it's done and done. I said, we had fun, but it's time to go. You can get up off the couch and take a little poop. And meanwhile, baby, Obsidian is gonna display the credits of the people that worked up on the game. A whole lot of talent and work and blood and sweat and tears went into the production this year, baby. You gotta stand up, appreciate what they did. I said, appreciate it. Once again, I must reiterate, the game is over and through. There's nothing else to do, yo. Yeah, so the game is actually, I don't know what else you're expecting, but that's it. That's it. It's done. It's over. There's really, it's not like a bonus sequence or anything. This is it. I guess if you wanted, you could probably stick around for the credits. Yeah, I'd probably.